I did.
So what about that new controller, guys? That new PlayStation controller? I think it looks better than possibly the Switch Joy-Cons on the little dog controller. What do you think,
Okay.
Baron?
Can I introduce the podcast?
Yeah, I don't know why he was so quick to get to that.
Yeah.
I was not made a joke last time. I was trying to make a joke this time. All right, go. Yeah,
Okay, dude. You know I forget what happens. I don't remember anything when it comes to all I remember is I barely remember anything when it comes to podcasts. Anyway, I don't know if we're even are we live? It says the internet can totally see you. Yeah, the internet can see us. Okay, we're live. Hey, what's up, everybody? OJ here. Welcome back to another PE podcast. This is episode number 93. We have a good show for you guys because we got a guest here. My man, the myth, the legend from Twitter, Stealth. Stealth, how you doing today?
Hey, good.
That's it.
Oh, that's Stealth from Twitter?
Yeah.
Boy, I know he get tired of me sometimes not to when I reply.
You hating on Stealth, Baron? What's going on here, dude?
No, I don't hate on Stealth. I just be bringing up stuff, and after I bring up something, everybody start arguing on his posts. I know he gets tired of that.
So you be polluting his posts?
No, I just be speaking facts, you know.
Facts.
He
like
Stealth,
the facts like the N64 is better than the Super Nintendo and the
We'll get into that in a
That's
minute.
not true.
We'll get into that in a minute. But
you're gonna get destroyed tonight.
We don't have
That's
that
all I
much
gotta say.
time.
You're gonna get absolutely destroyed.
I really
You're gonna
won't
get
because I
bombed,
got the
man.
receipts for you.
What
But
receipts?
There's no receipts.
let me finish what I'm
GameCube is-
saying. Goddamn.
No,
Okay,
no
go ahead,
time
go
for
ahead,
you
go
tonight.
Go ahead, finish. Go
What's up,
finish.
bro?
Stealth he be. Well, how can I say this? He has the politician version of the facts. That's what he be tweeting. You know, I like to give it to it raw and uncut. He's nice about it. You know, he says the truth in a nice way. I just go in there, I'll be raw with it. I'm like, nah, this is this.
Like playing
And
Captain
I be getting
Full Body. There's two sides of the spectrum. You know what I mean? Like you can either be a really bad person, like you sometimes, Baron, or you can be really nice, like Stealth.
You know, I ain't
One
gonna
or the other.
sugarcoat it. I ain't sugarcoat it.
I know.
Well,
It's a good
Baron,
thing I couldn't
This
hear
ain't
that.
Candyland.
well, Baron is here. Baron, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing exceptional. You know what I mean?
I don't know. How about
I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about this new product that Dove put out. This oversized Dove bar they put out. You know what I mean?
It could be a hit with the women. Dove's a
Hey,
great
it could be.
Dove's a great brand. Their deodorant isn't very good, but their shampoo is good.
It ain't. Boy, you wear that deodorant, it's gone after about 2 hours. It's like you ain't even put that on.
Yeah, the Dove deodorant's not very good. But if you like their shampoo to dry your head out completely, then Dove shampoo's great.
Dry your head out completely.
It cleans it like the Dove shampoo, like the charcoal. It works, but I mean, if you're ethnic, any type of ethnicity, you can't be using it. It's gonna dry your hair to a crisp. It's gonna be like one of those.
You
Like
said
metal-
if you're what?
if
you
you're
what, OJ?
ethnic, like different, like
Ethnic? So like mayo? No, let me stop.
The opposite.
Let's
ethnic,
not go there.
any type of ethnic hair care.
He's talking about
So you're
spicy man.
always trying to start something. Ethnic. It's gonna dry your hair to a crisp, like those metal sponges. You know what I'm saying?
Get some cocoa butter.
Yeah, you got to get some of that Shea moisturizer for your like shampoo.
Yeah,
and all
so basically Dove is like chicken without seasoning.
Well, I'm not using the chicken and seasoning. I'd pick them at my house. God,
All
extra
right.
salt, extra pepper.
Barry, you're a douchebag. Abaddon, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How about you, man?
I hate Baron. Outside of that, I'm okay. Good to see you here. And BC, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Chilling like a villain. Videos, music, live streams, all that good stuff. Played a game today. It was horrible. You can ask Party Man and a bunch of other people here in the chat. It was the worst. It's
What'd you
called
play?
Vigor. And it was the closed beta. They sent me the code, and I'm very disappointed. The game's been out on Xbox since 2019. You'd think the closed beta would at least look like a PS3 game. It looks worse than SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. Like, it's bad graphically and gameplay-wise. The game doesn't make sense. It's about scavenging, collecting loot, and surviving to the end, but there's 8 people on a map 5 times the size of a Call of Duty map. It's impossible to find people, and the objective is to leave the arena, not to kill people, which makes no sense. So people jump into the lobby, leave, get their 500 XP points, and jump into another game. They just keep doing that instead of staying in the lobby and gaining points. So there's no one to compete with. I spent an hour and a half not shooting a gun at anyone.
Okay.
That's horrible. But aside from that, good week.
Aside from that, good week-ish. Okay.
Yeah. I dropped an Animal Crossing review, actually. I did drop
Nice.
that. A lot of people enjoyed that, too. That's about it. Oh, and GameCube is better than N64.
We're gonna talk about that in just a bit. We're gonna talk because Baron has this crazy post
See,
on
I was
Twitter.
trying to get me a snack, and then you started talking that
No,
nonsense.
get your snack. Get your snack. We're gonna start
Okay.
off with the PS5 controller.
Get your Dunkaroos and throw them at you.
N64 is better than GameCube.
Okay, look, let's not get into it now. Just finish
can't-
introducing the
we can't put
cast, man.
nostalgia
Finish
in
it.
the
We
light.
already finished introducing the cast.
That is everyone, yeah.
That's everyone. I can't sit here with this nonsense that you guys are putting in front of our guests, embarrassing yourselves, Baron and Abaddon, embarraing you guys.
First of all,
yourselves.
let me
Embarrassing.
Let's get the
Let me
L
put
for
you in the
Abaddon
corner
and
real
Baron.
quick.
Let's
Put me in the
L
corner.
for Abaddon and Baron.
Yo,
of all,
OJ,
just
hold
because-
up.
No, hold up, wait, no. Let me say this.
Hold up. Destiny
He-
said she got no invite. Destiny
No,
said she
let-
got-
Oh, Destiny wants an invite?
Oh yeah, let Destiny in here because I know Destiny gonna help me out with this. You think because you
Nah,
brought
she's
your
just
little
being-
RPG buddy Stealth in here that you gonna win this argument, ain't you?
Uh-oh.
That's what you feel like, don't you? Because y'all both love them RPGs. You think you
GameCube
good?
isn't
You think
all
you gonna
about
win this
RPGs,
argument, don't you?
though. GameCube has everything. It's got Mario Strikers. It's got
BC, I'm not talking to you
it's
right
got
now.
Resident Evil 4.
Hush.
I love N64.
Hush.
I was born on
I already-
N64.
look, bruh, we'll get into that in a
Resident
minute.
Evil
We'll get into
is
that.
better than the entire library on the
OJ,
N64.
see,
Besides
Abaddon, you
Ocarina
see,
of Time,
OJ think he's
besides
slick.
Mario
No,
64.
He knew he was going to talk about this, so he got
That's no
Stealth because he
cap.
knew Stealth was an
Anyone can-
RPG.
Yo,
fan.
hold up.
He thought he was slick, but
No,
I
no,
Are
know
you
Hold
guys
on,
done?
of the
Are you?
Yo,
series.
Baron,
Can you
hold
guys
on.
be quiet, please? Are you done? That's not why I brought Stealth in because Stealth is the homie, and I wanted Stealth to be here.
And she left.
I'm just trolling, man. Damn.
GameCube is so good.
We're gonna talk about that in just a bit. I sent Destiny. If Destiny wants to hop in, Destiny can hop in.
No, she hopped in. She did.
So here's the thing. We're gonna talk about
What
the
we
PS5
talking-
controller. Okay.
Okay, let's talk about that dove thing.
Alright, cool.
PS5 controller. We're gonna start off. Sony announced the PS5 controller. It's called the Dual Sense, not the Dual Shock. Dual Sense. It's gonna give you a more immersive gameplay. It has essentially their version of HD Rumble built into it, like haptic feedback. It's got some triggers that rumble and stuff like that. It's got a little bit of a different design. It looks more like
The Pro controller?
more like a Pro controller, more like an Xbox 360 controller in terms of like the shape. But in terms of like the layout, the button layout is exactly the same. It's exactly the same as the regular DualShock 4. But they do have some extra things built in. It does have a microphone built into it, so you can chat like an array mic. That's supposedly they say noise canceling, but you know it's going to be trash.
So
But
Sony is sticking to their roots, copying
yeah,
Nintendo.
pretty much.
Good job.
Well, everyone was going to implement haptic feedback
know,
or HD
I know.
rumble, so yeah. But I
I
mean,
know.
like they did do that, and that's pretty much it. Outside of that, it's pretty much the same. They did mention that the battery life is good. They're going to try to do better battery life on it. So you guys remember like the original
Oh, it
PS4
needs a good
controllers?
battery life.
Yeah, the original PS4 controllers, the battery life is horrible. The PS4 Pro controllers, the second version models or the third version, those ones are much better. So I'm glad that they mentioned battery life because the original PS4, like I'm watching Amazon Prime, I'm getting like 3 episodes of Forensic Files and my controller's dead. Like I'm not even doing anything. All I'm doing is watching Forensic Files and my controller dies. So
You turn down your backlight?
yeah, I dimmed it all the way down to the lowest.
Wow.
Absolutely. And I'm exaggerating with the whole Forensic Files thing, but it does die while I'm watching Forensic Files. Like I can
No,
watch
it sounded accurate. That's why I asked. Like it sounded accurate. That's why I asked that question.
Yeah,
I
it's-
keep mine connected at all times.
It's like I
It's
swear,
not a great battery life.
No, it's horrible. I swear I watched I think maybe 5 or 6 episodes of Forensic Files and it almost died. And like I was pausing, I was like skipping, because I've seen them so many times. Like sometimes I don't want to watch certain ones, so I'll like skip that episode and go to the next episode. And
So you're skipping the bad episodes.
I'm skipping the episodes that like that I've seen so much like it's like lame, or I'm skipping the ones like where children die. It's like I skip those two because I've already seen all those ones. So I just go to the other like ones where it's like kind of the interesting ones, But yeah. But anyway. But yeah, there was a time where like literally it died when I was watching Forensic Files, and it was a full charge. So like I'm glad that they said that the battery's going to be better. But I want to go to Stealth first, our guest. Stealth, what did you think about this PS5 controller? Maybe you can let people know a little bit about your history, like PlayStation systems, like what you like and stuff like that too.
Sure. I mean, I've had PlayStation systems since the beginning. I got a PS1 at launch, got a PS2 at launch, got a PS3 at launch. Kind of a mistake there. It was pretty expensive. PS4 at launch and all the handheld systems. So, I have experience with all the Sony systems and all the Sony controllers and most of the peripherals. My first impression, I know a lot of people like initially went to the look of the controller, which, the two-tone look is interesting. But to me, I was more interested in reading the press release and seeing what they were saying about the battery life, in how nice it was, how nice the controller is to hold. Those things were more important to me than the actual look of it. But only because I'm sure there's going to be 1,000 limited editions and color variations, and so like the color itself didn't really bother me too much. I was more happy to hear that they're actually going to address the battery life. That was the most important thing to me.
Yeah, absolutely. The battery life is definitely the most important, especially like if you're playing like Persona, if you're playing some of these other games, man, it sucks. Like I remember playing Persona 4. This was before the PS4 Pro. I got mine, and like I remember just playing constantly the controller dying playing Persona.
Yeah.
Persona. Did I say 4? I meant Persona 5. Persona 5. The controller just dying over and over and over and over during Persona 5. Like it was mad annoying. Like it was so bad. So at least the first 40 hours. Then the last 40 hours that I played the game, 50 hours, I played on my PS Vita remote play, which don't get me started on remote play. But anyway, I did that. So let's go ahead and move on to VC. And what's up, Shadow Fox? Good to see you here.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Shadow Fox?
What'd you think about the controller, VC?
I'll be honest. The moment I saw it, I was like, people who are diehard Sony fans and the really bad ones that are Sony ponies were gonna be pretty mad at what the controller looked like from the jump. Me personally, I actually thought it looks kind of clean. It looks pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it's dope. And I saw Spawnwave mention on Twitter what kind of boxes for the games would there be too. Like if the controller is white, what about that? I think those are gonna be white too. They're gonna go all white, I think, with the PS5. That's what I believe is gonna be happening. And with the controllers, I've always liked PlayStation controllers. I've always preferred Nintendo's or Microsoft's over them personally, just because analog stick layout. I'm not a huge fan of the double analog by the bottom. That just isn't my thing.
My man.
Like aside from that, I hope it's good. I like how they fixed the bottom though, where it's more jagged. I hated the original bottom of the PS4 and PS3 and 2 controllers, where it was like that weird, like I don't know. Not a fan. Not a fan of the handles either. But the triggers, I always like their triggers. They always had good R2, L2 buttons. That was probably my favorite thing of the Sony controller. So as long as they keep that in the PS5 controller, that's great. That's great for it. But aside from that, we'll see what happens. Overall, the backlash is pretty immense. It's pretty divisive. But to me, I think it's clean. I think it's pretty clean. Not the best thing in the world, not at all, but nice.
Okay. And what about you, Shadow Fox? Did you get a chance to see that new controller from Sony?
Yeah, I got a little sneak peek there. Yeah.
What'd you think about it?
It looks sleek. I'm not a fan of what looks to be like very thin depth as far as the way the D-pad and the buttons protrude from the controller. It looks like there's not too much travel there. So that was kind of that was the only thing that was kind of off to me. Other than that, everything looks it looks like the mold of either this guy here or a Xbox controller, and they just kind of on the back side of it is going to look and feel like a DualShock. So that's the plus to me. USB-C. Might as well join everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, other than that, that's fine. The only thing I have to worry about is their cryptic response regarding battery life. So, that's going to be the question and the tale of the day.
That's going to be it, because balancing the size of the controller with trying to do like this 3D audio that they have, and also trying to do like the haptic feedback and all the other cool stuff that they're putting into it. That's going to be the big thing there, is the battery life. How good is that battery life going to be? So I'm thinking that they're going to probably aim for like a, maybe 5 to 8 hours, somewhere in that range. I think that's where they're probably aiming for with this. Maybe it's more though. Maybe this controller has a better battery. Maybe it's 15 to 20 hours. And maybe
I'm thinking 15 to 20 because it's USB-C.
Yeah, and another thing is that it's probably going to be expensive too. It's going to be expensive, so I'm thinking that's too low. I think it's going to be 15 to 20 hours.
Considering the Wii U at this point, the Wii U had a screen on it, and it eventually got an 8-hour battery for it. Granted, it was the size of it was literally a wireless phone battery, but I'm pretty sure Sony is pretty apt at creating batteries at this point now, to where they can have a cell size large enough to where they can have these things charged for at least longer than 10 hours at this point. I mean, Nintendo's been doing this for years.
Yeah, I feel like the Switch Pro controller fully charged is like 15 hours, so there's no excuse for
40.
the PS5
40.
controller not to be.
It's
40,
40,
yeah,
40,
it's
yeah.
insane.
Unless you play a game
Yeah.
with a lot of rumble, you
know
can get probably 40 out of it.
You know what the funny thing is that, like, because like the Wii U Pro controller, that's 80 hours.
Yeah, 80
charge.
hours.
Yeah.
I actually pretty much beat Xenoblade Chronicles X on one charge. I did have to charge it a little bit, and I finished off the game. I think I finished it like at 87 hours before I did the other stuff and got over 100. But yeah, it's pretty nuts. But then again, like if you look at it, like that's a pretty big drop, right? Like they had an 80-hour battery, right? And then it went from 80 to 40 hours because of the HD Rumble and because of all the stuff that they built into it. So it just tells you how tough it is to actually get a solid battery in there for a good amount of time and have all the features that you want and have other stuff like that. It's not easy. And then also the controller needs to be like sleek and compact. Like you got people got baby hands. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people got small hands. So you've got to make sure that you that you put in for them. But then also there's people with big hands. But more people have small hands than big hands. That's the thing that I've noticed. Y'all notice that? More people have smaller hands than
all
big
of Japan.
hands. Yeah,
I can't relate to that.
So
Yeah, I can't relate either.
So you have to make sure that you put a good balance between if the controller's too small, if the controller's like it can't be big enough, then it needs to make sure that it's not too small. So it's hard. I don't think it's an easy thing to do. Like even though they've had the design for controllers for a while now. Abaddon, I haven't went to you yet, man. Your thoughts on this controller?
Kind of like what the VC said. I felt that it did look clean, but that's why I also find Baron's joke funny. Does he look like a Dove bar and everything? But it looks clean. Looks like, but the only thing is, it's like I do hope they do have other color variations, like at launch, not eventually, but at launch, because I can see that thing getting dirty really fast. Other than that, kind of like what Shadow Fox said, I did peep that there's not much like bevel room between the buttons. It looks like the buttons are sunken inside the controller, kind of from the perspective they had. So that was a concern of mine. But other than that,
it's not though. They're actual buttons.
Yeah, it might just be a 3D model issue.
Yeah, they're actual buttons.
And then like I said, I want to see like how long does a controller last, and what I use this word lightly. 'Cause I know this word gimmick could be used as a bad connotation, but I want to see what the DualSense gimmick is. Is it something that's going to really enhance gaming in a way?
There is a gimmick. That is the gimmick.
That's what I'm saying. Is it really going to do it? Like, and how is it going to do it? Because HD Rumble, I remember games like Mr. Shifty and everything. Like, you could literally feel on the side of the controller where it vibrates, where an enemy was going to come after you. And I felt like stuff like that is enhanceable and stuff like that. So I want to see what they're going to do. And kind of like VC, I'm the same way. I prefer asymmetrical joysticks on my controllers, especially when playing shooters and fighting games. I feel like, especially when you're playing a fighting game, the two symmetrical joysticks, it makes it a lot harder. Same with shooting games. It makes it harder to move around. It's like your fingers, they're too close together, whereas you spread them out a little bit more, it makes it easier to do what you got to do.
You know what? I think I'm with you there with shooters, but fighting games I think always play pretty good on PlayStation, because I think the D-pad is really good on PlayStation, and having it right there, because most of the time in fighting games you're going to use the D-pad. You're not going to be using the analog sticks. You're going to be using the D-pad and face buttons. So I think the PlayStation controller is really good for fighting games, but then it can somewhat, your fingers can hit on those based on how big your hands are. Your fingers can hit like on shooters, like dual analog shooters.
See, for me, the reason why I'm more of joysticks when it comes to fighters is because growing up playing like fighting games in the arcade and everything, I'm used to like doing quarter circle forwards or quarter circle backwards in that motion. And I feel like the joysticks carry that motion more than the D-pad, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm used to Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo, where you have the D-pad quarter circles and all the things like that. So
and Street Fighter 2, my experience first was in the arcade before, because I didn't get Super Nintendo. I had it on Genesis like afterwards, but my first experiences on those was at the arcade.
Yo, did you press select, or what was it, the start button to switch from punch to kicks on the Genesis version of Street Fighter?
That was the worst.
Listen, man,
Three buttons.
I had to get that 6-button controller. That was just horrible.
I remember playing that at my friend's house. I was like, bro, how do I kick? How do I punch or whatever? He's like, oh, you have to press like start. It's like the switch. I'm like, this is the
I
worst.
had the 6 button.
Okay, you have the 6 button. Okay, I remember the 3 button, bro. That was.
And you had to omit a button for Mortal Kombat. You had to omit one entire button for Mortal Kombat. It was ridiculous. You had to press down or something to get like low kick. It was just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Baron, I know you said this looks like some Dove soap. So Baron, what are your thoughts on this controller?
My thoughts on the controller itself.
All right, lower your volume, guys, just in case.
Nah, there's nothing to really. It's a controller. There's nothing to really flip out about. I just thought it was a hyper white Xbox controller. Pretty much it. They just made it 2-tone. It's basically Xbox controller in 2-tone. That's pretty much it. Like, I think what made me poke fun at it the most is because I seen a Sony fan base acting like it was such a revolutionary design. I'm like, it literally looks like an Xbox controller.
Am I the only one that saw people that didn't like it?
No, there
that are like diehard.
There were a lot of people who didn't like it.
A lot of people didn't like it, but the Sony loyalists, which is a lot of them, they was acting like this was the best thing since sliced bread. I'm like, this is literally an Xbox controller. Like, what is going on here? Y'all clown Microsoft for showing off new controllers every other month, and here y'all go praising the controller.
So
it's like,
this is the Xbox.
Like crazy.
This is the Xbox controller, and it does look similar, but of course the
sticks in the joint,
the sticks are different, and the D-pad on this PlayStation controller is just better. It's just a better D-pad.
I think the curve though on the new PS5 is closer to the Pro controller though.
Oh, absolutely. It is closer to the Pro controller. The Pro controller, like this.
That mode.
But these two controllers are very similar. Like in terms of button and everything. Like I have, and I get mixed up. Who plays? If you play Xbox and you play Switch a lot, the X and the Y are mixed up. So sometimes I accidentally press.
Same. That's why I had that issue all the time.
I wonder if Nintendo has a patent on that.
I thought the A and the B confused you instead of because when y'all switch from Switch to Xbox, that's what gets me.
It's the X and the Y.
For some reason, the X and the Y confused me.
Like reload, and on this,
the X and the Y confusing me. Especially when I'm playing Apex, I need to switch my gun. I'm like, oh man, come on, I'm pressing the wrong button at the wrong time.
Maybe I'm the weirdo, but like when y'all were talking about that before, when you were talking about whether the dual sticks or not, or having an offset, I can play either way. Like it doesn't matter. I can go from playing a Wii U Pro controller where both the sticks are at the top, or I can go to
I actually like that,
dual shock controller. I can play shooters that way, fighting games that way. Like
that was very weird with the Wii.
But
it worked. It wasn't a problem though. It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing Call of Duty and that with no issues at all on Wii U, and I didn't have any issues going right back from that to playing Call of Duty on the PS4. So
you said that. Shout out to everybody that played Black Ops on Wii U. We
straight up.
We was lit back in them days.
Yeah, it was. There's actually still people on right now, man. Believe it or not.
Yep.
Not that many, but there's still like.
And the people that are on, a lot of them they still play with a Wii remote, so you'll get one shot at from God because they're aiming down as they jump over your head.
So when do you guys think? I'll kind of put this around to the table here. When do you guys think that they're gonna show off the console? And do you guys think that it could be a 2-tone console, kind of like the controllers? Stealth.
I don't want to be negative, but I don't think it's coming. So if they do show it, it's gonna be late. I mean, like August late.
Okay, so yeah, they did say in the coming months. They did say in the coming months.
Yeah.
What about you?
Actually,
what else have they said that they didn't do this year?
You know what? I say July. I'll say July. Wow, shots fired. Shots fired. Kind of like what Shadow Fox said. I'm looking like summer, like midsummer, like mid to late summer. Around that period is when they'll start showing things off. Like they want to wait until after, like that E3 period where Nintendo, Xbox, and everyone else is going to be showing off their stuff. They're going to wait for an opportunity when no one else is doing their thing, and that's when they're going to showcase this thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting though, because as of yet, there are still no bulk orders from either one of these companies. Global Foundries, TSMC, like nobody's done a bulk order yet since the beginning of this year. So they're not ready, and nobody's purchased them, so they can be ready by November. It's only a couple months away. So it's not looking too good. That much I can say. And if it does turn around, and both of these consoles launch in November, to what end though? Because if the economy is back the way it needs to be because of God knows what, are people really gonna line up and buy them? Like, I mean, I see Switch and Xbox selling out right now, but is anybody gonna have the money, or is that gonna be anybody's focus at that time?
It definitely will. No matter what, holiday season will always thrive.
I don't know. Sixth generation was kind of bad. When Xbox and GameCube launched that year in 2001 because of the 9/11, it was pretty bad. They didn't do as well as they anticipated. They made up for it in the following January, but those first 2 months were bad.
Well, this ain't really 9/11 per se. Put it that way.
In terms of economy, it might be worse.
In terms of economy,
it might be worse.
It might be worse, but I feel like people will recover. Even though everybody's getting this stimulus way too damn late, but that's a whole nother.
That
subject.
stimulus isn't enough though. We all know
It sure ain't.
Yeah, Canada has a much better. Yeah, but I'll say it's not. We're not in like that recession period and everything. But what I will say is we are also in a different type of economy now where digital currency is more prominent than it was back then. And that's how that's how other people I've been noticing are having it and buy if they don't have regular jobs. So it's like the market's still going to go because there are people who still have money. That's why the stocks aren't fully crashed, because it's like there's people who still have a lot of money to spend. So it's going to be interesting.
Honestly, I think they're waiting this long to show the console because they have no idea what the launch library is because all these games are going to get delayed.
Yep.
Good point.
That's an excellent point.
And if the logistics are bad for the games, how bad are they going to be for actual hardware shipping that you have?
I might make a video on that stuff if you don't mind.
Oh, they're like, hold up.
But I mean, I can see them showing it like around E3 time. I was thinking about it like back in 2017 when we had the Switch reveal event. It seemed like nobody liked it, but I think we saw the system, we saw the games, and it's kind of more preferable to me than this drip feeding of tech specs and controllers, and it's just not interesting.
It's so funny that you bring that up too, because people. I mean, dude, like not trying to bash on anybody, but people that I subscribe to made Switch is doomed videos right after that. I mean,
just
it was
like they did for Wii U.
Articles, Switch is doomed. It's not going to be good. Like they showed like 20 games or something like. They showed 20 games.
Yeah.
They showed the price. They said no region locking. A lot of the stuff that people were saying that it wasn't good enough. They had a killer app right there at launch. Everything that people were kind of knocking with the Wii U, they kind of fixed. Not everything they fixed with the Wii U, but they fixed so much of it. And people were positive, but people were also really really negative, saying like
the vocal majority was extremely negative.
Yeah, there was a lot of negativity. There was positivity. Don't get me wrong. There was people that were like, this is going to be great, but there was definitely a lot of people that were like, they made the same mistakes, and
that confused you.
And some people still haven't owned up to it to this day.
That confused you, OJ? Why did that confuse you?
It didn't confuse me. It didn't, because the problem with me when I watched it first, my power went out while I was watching it, so it just messed up my whole mood when I was watching it.
That should have sold it.
Yeah, my power went out. It should have sold it, but I wasn't thinking that way. So then I watched it again. At first I was like, okay, C plus. Then I watched it again. Then I gave it like an A or something like that. After I watched it again, I was like, wait a minute. There's a lot of stuff here. I mean, that was the first time that we saw Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That was they revealed it the first time ever. Like,
yep.
Huge RPG in the first year. That was nuts. Like, they revealed so many cool things at that event. So I agree with Stealth, man. Like, this whole drip feed of information without games and stuff like that is not necessarily ideal. I don't like it at all.
And that's why I got attacked for my tweet, because I put, what did I put in that tweet? I said, you showed no console, you showed no games, you revealed no games, you got no release date, no price, but here's a controller. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it's made me I haven't just seeing all the fighting over the controller. It's like we haven't even seen the games yet. Like, it doesn't even feel like we've had an actual reveal.
Yeah,
So it's like
Godfall doesn't count to me.
So let me ask you guys a question, and this is for everyone in the cast, even the chat. What do you guys think can be that one game that Sony has that can bring people over, that can get people to say, "I'm getting this right away"?
I'm gonna tell you
Like-
what it is.
Grand
I'm
Theft
gonna tell
Auto
you what it
6
is.
exclusive. I think that's what would do it.
But can they pull off an exclusive deal with Rockstar?
Nah.
Grand Theft Auto ain't happening.
Probably
No
not.
It's
time
not
soon.
gonna be
Nah,
exclusive.
Y'all get over that.
Sony would have to pay them.
Spider-Man
Sony
2,
would have to
that's
pay
They
them
would have to
like
pay them a lot of money.
it'd be like it'd
Yeah.
be over. It'd be $1 billion. It would have to be
be over $1 billion.
Yeah, or over
That
$1
would
billion
guarantee it,
dollars. Yeah.
they
And
did
there's
it.
no way in hell Sony's gonna pay them over $1 billion because like that's how much they would make. Like the loss, you have to make it for the loss.
And
sales,
it
right?
might be like $1 billion for like a year of it wouldn't be like
Yeah.
lifetime.
Yeah, because Grand Theft Auto sold what 100 million plus. Like, there's no way they're
Yeah,
giving up that
Too
money.
much. It sold
Yeah,
more
I
than
mean,
GTA
have-
Online as well. The more
Yeah.
clients they have, the more free money
they're
they
not
get.
going to do that, and there's no reason for them to do it. You know,
I'm gonna be straight up honest with y'all. I don't think they have a game in their library that is that
there
game.
is a game. Horizon Zero Dawn can do that. Horizon
Boy,
Zero
if
Dawn,
you don't get out of
No.
no, absolutely.
No.
That game sold 10 million.
Bro,
The thing about
Spider-Man.
Horizon Zero, hold up,
Bro,
time out.
Spider-Man is right there. Spider-Man 2, they're already saying
Come
that they're in
on, bro.
development.
Yeah,
for
Spider-Man
doing that.
2
They said
and
that a year
Horizon
ago.
Zero Dawn. Both of those games can move
Oh,
systems.
man.
Both
I think
of them.
Spider-Man's
I'm
going to
sorry.
move systems, not Horizon
not-
Zero
no.
Dawn.
I don't think I'll give that to more Horizon.
We
than
argued about the whole
More
Horizon
Horizon?
popularity
Come
thing, the
on.
other cast, and I still
Yeah.
think that was a
It's
major
a
factor.
$10 million.
It sold, but
It
it
sold
sold
10 million.
after it was
Spider-Man sold so
$30
much
the first
too.
month.
You
Yup.
know
Okay,
what I
but
mean?
that
It
doesn't.
dropped mad quick.
But that doesn't matter. Like the game still boosted.
I mean, it really
PlayStation
does
sales.
matter.
It does
It
matter because
boosted PlayStation sales.
So they're
and
gonna
sold
launch
10
with a
million.
new
Dropped
game
in a
and then
month
discount
because-
it
Look at that. I got
because
nominated.
because hold on, no, the reason why that does matter is
They
because
can't afford to do that at launch.
is that doesn't really
Little
equate
too.
to a system seller. Like no
Yeah.
one's gonna buy if they're not gonna spend full price on a game. No one's gonna spend full price on the game and a console.
You guys are underestimating. It's a new IP. You guys are underestimating. People know how good Horizon Zero Dawn is now.
Spider-Man
I mean,
is a
I think-
long-fledged thing. I feel like
I
Spider-Man
think
is
he-
the most popular thing.
I mean, I think you can do what Nintendo did with Breath of the Wild is make Last of Us Part 2 a launch title.
Yeah, that.
Now,
Damn,
that would
who
be
said
live.
that? Who been saying that for the last 10 damn months?
Well,
What was gonna
I
happen?
said that
was
too,
hoping they
though.
were
I
just
said The
gonna give
Last
up
of Us.
and say that.
I said,
We
I
all
said
agree
that
with you, Baron.
But we all agree with you, and I said that myself. I said The Last of Us should probably be like a cross-gen, or
Yeah.
should definitely be on the PS5 like soon-ish. You know,
I was
Like,
just
It's just the
Maybe
fact that I
conscious
had
of money.
people really getting on my case and be like, it's backwards capable. They're not going to do that. I'm like, yes, they are. It just makes the perfect sense. Everybody wants to talk shit about Microsoft, but launching with Halo is a big deal. It needs
is.
something to equal that.
If
At least
Halo-
try to equal that. And
Mhm.
Last of Us 2 is the only franchise that can possibly do that.
they don't have to beat up. Wait, time out.
I think y'all sleep on Spider-Man.
Time out.
Or they bring
I'm not
Nathan
sleeping
Drake
on
back.
Spider-Man.
Wait a
I don't
minute.
think Spider-Man's
Time
going
out,
to be
time out.
ready.
Okay, so
that's my thing. I don't think Spider-
the PS4 launched with Killzone Shadowfall and Knack. All right, and it
Okay, and the Xbox
and
launched with
Infamous.
worse
It
games,
launched with
Xbox
Infamous too.
One launched with Rise Son of Rome
which was trash.
and what
they both
else?
started
And like
bad.
a really
I don't
bad
even know what the other game
Crimson
was.
Dragon or a really bad version of
Oh
Panzer
God, I
Dragoon.
forgot about that game. That game was garbage
so
too.
to sit there and say that Horizon Zero Dawn wouldn't blow up sales, and those games blew up sales, those people were just excited to get those games.
Hold
people
up,
were
bro.
excited.
We all know why the Xbox failed. It wasn't
no,
because
come
they
on.
at
had
launch,
the better
Xbox
launch
is
title.
good.
Because
No,
of
no,
the
no, no.
Kinect.
At launch, we're talking
And
about
the TV
launch.
stuff.
You said launch sales.
At launch, the killer app for PlayStation 4 was $400.
Launch sales. Launch sales.
Exactly.
I mean, that was the killer app.
Here's the thing: Xbox One sold 1 million units in 24 hours. Right? They both started off strong and continued strong throughout the holidays. It was till later that okay, what's next coming up, and that's when the price difference came into play. Right? That's when people are okay. Well, Sony, it's cheaper. And then what did we get? We got what was it? Infamous Second Son very early in 2014. So that helped tremendously as well.
And that's why launch isn't that important in terms of launch library. It doesn't matter really at all. Because like even for Switch, like the biggest game was in April when Mario Kart launched, and that's the biggest exclusive this entire generation. So you know you kind of have to pace out your exclusives, and that's something PlayStation did a lot better than Xbox did.
I would say that it's that 2013, both of those launches were paper tigers anyway, because you still had the media manufacturing consent as well. Like these people were caping for Resogun, which was an indie game, as a launch title for PlayStation 4. Like that's the killer app for PlayStation 4. that year. That's literally what was said by IGN and GameSpot and a couple of other outlets. So it's kind of hard to know, depending on how well this is received by the usual suspects. That's going to determine what's going to take off and what's not, really. Because once the people that normally go online to say, "Ooh, what's the popular opinion?" That's what I'm going to go do, and then once they generate that, they'll follow that. But
Shadow Fox, does it play NBA? Does it play Madden? Does it play Call of Duty? That's really all it needs in this holiday season. And people
does it play Halo?
And
does it play
Spider-Man.
Halo?
Does it play Halo? Whatever. Does it play Halo? Does it play blah, blah, blah? If all those games are on there, people are just going to buy what they like. People are just going to, oh, okay, I like PlayStation. I'm going to go out there and get a PlayStation. I like Xbox. Now, there's going to be some, you have those swing voters, you know what I'm saying, that like really, truly look at what is the best and they buy it. So then, yes, I think that's going to be more tilted towards Xbox. The people that went PlayStation last generation and were like, okay, whatever, they might go with the Series X because it's more powerful, right? And because it does have Halo at launch. And I don't think Sony's going to have anything as big, like in terms of name brand, as big as Halo outside of The Last of Us. But The Last of Us is also going to be on PS4 too. So, I mean,
well, Xbox could have the best of both worlds because the low information gamer or what have you is going to flock anyway because Halo, for all intents and purposes, is going to be there at launch. So, off the rip, they're gonna buy the console for that. But as far as PlayStation right now, it's looking kind of shaky because we don't know what's going to be there. Really, like
Last of Us, it's going to be there.
All I can say is after that indefinite
if it's
delay,
not there,
I feel
that's bad.
I feel like it's Last of Us too.
Why wouldn't you give a date for the game?
Yeah, it's just indefinitely
indefinite delay.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Indefinitely hilarious.
First of all, I think here's the thing. A couple things. Like, obviously, yes, it's the best business move, but that kind of sucks for people who've been waiting
really
for this
sucks.
game all generation.
Look,
Look,
that was happening.
Naughty Dog. You can say whatever you want. Oh,
Naughty Dog
PS4's
made a naughty move.
I was waiting for
is
Ghost to
easier
get delayed too.
It's easier to develop for, but Naughty Dog's output on PS3 was just flat out better. It was just flat out better.
Oh yeah.
They had Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and they had The Last of Us, and The Last of Us had multiplayer. I mean, it's just like you can't say
It took a while though
an
on
issue.
PlayStation. On PlayStation 3, it took a while.
Oh yeah, and then Uncharted 4 got delayed a number of times. And then they had like that Lost Legacy thing, if you want to count that as another game, which is extension to Uncharted. And then they had The Last of Us Part 2. They've been working on this game all gen, right? Since 2015, they've been working on this game. And now you're trying to say, oh, well, you got to wait some more, which I guess it's happened. I mean, like, look, Breath of the Wild was kind of like that, but the generation was way smaller for Nintendo in terms of like, because the Wii U failed. You know, the PS4 is a popular system. But we are going to move on, unless anybody has anything else to say on that. We are going to move on to the next topic, just so we can keep this pretty good here. I think I want to move on to this though. Like, Final Fantasy VII Remake, we're going to have no spoilers here, guys, but the reviews have came out. The game, I think Baron's been checking it. I know Baron was checking it every single day.
checking it every single day.
Were you checking the reviews, Baron? Or are you good on that? Are you good?
I think the last time was an 87. What is it?
It's at an 87. So it's at a very good score. 87, good score. It seems a bit polarizing though. So like I said, I'm not trying to have a huge debate on Final because it's like we've done this before. But what are you guys' thoughts in terms of course, like the game and who's picking it up? So I guess we can just kind of go one by one. I'll start with Stealth, our guest. Stealth, you picking up Final Fantasy VII Remake, and what do you think about the reviews? With no spoilers, of course.
Yeah, I'm picking it up tomorrow. In terms of the reviews, they were pretty much what I thought they would be. There are some reviewers who don't play a lot of RPGs, maybe ever, but know Final Fantasy and are willing to give that a shot. So they're not going into it with certain expectations. If there's certain story changes or even if the story cuts off at Midgar, which isn't really a spoiler. But so they don't really care so much. But then there's other people who went into Final Fantasy Remake expecting the full game, and looking for that same level of kind of awe that they felt the first time in 1997. So yeah, I mean, there were a lot of this is the best game I've played in years comments that I saw, and then a lot of this is the most disappointing RPG I've played in years comments. It kind of went both ways, but at the end of the day, the reviews were definitely more positive than negative. And I think I'm gonna take it more as put the original out of my head and just play this one for what it is, and not for what it's not. But yeah, the reviews were good. I mean, 87. I know people want to like say that, oh, if it doesn't score 90 plus on Metacritic, it's shit. But an 87 is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think the biggest thing is like, because like everyone has brought up like this whole, I made a video, I think, was it last year or earlier this year, like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition will be the best remake this year, and everyone was kind of like,
I agree with that. But
like when I did that, and like they were saying, no, it's good. I'm like, all right, well, we'll see. I don't think there's really any way that Xenoblade's gonna get under a 90 at this point, But Metacritic doesn't determine what's better. It's obviously subjective in terms of stuff.
And they're different reviewers reviewing different games. You can't even like compare.
But Xenoblade's it's not gonna get under a 90.
I think it's gonna be an 89. I hope it's above, but
it's gotta be above the 91. Nowadays. It's gotta be above the 91, 92 that it got, because it's gonna be way better than the Wii game, obviously. So
depends on who reviews it. If the same people that review Xenoblade Chronicles X review it, I don't know.
Xenoblade Chronicles X, there's a reason why those games were a bit lower, because those were more in depth. Like Xenoblade X and Xenoblade 2, they are more in depth, and the more stuff that you add to an RPG, the more it confuses the Western media.
Yeah,
people
literally did not finish it, reviewed it, and literally shitted on it. So it's okay.
That's how half the internet is. Let's be honest. Like even Animal Crossing, people made reviews and didn't even see the end credits.
Well, let me ask you a question. For who's next up here, Baron, you're not getting Final Fantasy VII Remake, are you? Or are you getting it?
He ain't getting it.
I'm waiting.
I don't think he's gonna get it. We all know Abaddon's thought on this, so Abaddon's beyond excited for Final Fantasy VII Remake. So Shadow Fox, are you getting the game?
I'm not right now. No, not initially. I'll probably get it maybe in a couple of months, but not right now initially. I think I just got through replaying the actual game maybe a couple months ago, as it is anyway. I'm kind of done with FF7 for the time being. I know it's a new combat system and everything else, but there's too much other stuff to play right now. I can't. I just absolutely can't. Now Resident Evil, that might be a different story. But
Resident Evil 3 Remake?
Maybe depending on how I feel.
Did you get Resident Evil 2 Remake?
So no, well actually I do, but I have it on PC. Okay. I'm trying to figure out an excuse to get it for PlayStation 4 as well.
It's super cheap, so you could probably pick it up.
I just don't want to sit in front of a monitor if I don't have to. But if I play Tomb Raider, that's why I want to play it. But I played Resident Evil Revelations almost exclusively in handheld mode when it came out on the Switch, and I was like, "This is portable Resident Evil is freaking sick." I played it at my mom's house too. I played a lot at my mom's house. I actually beat Resident Evil Revelations 2 purely when I was like, I used to go to my mom's house on Sundays. Like we go to church, and before this whole thing happened, and I actually completely beat, like when I'd wait for her to get ready, I would actually I beat Resident Evil Revelations 2 on the Switch, just basically over the weeks. Yeah.
Damn, OJ. Hold up, wait a minute.
Part of the franchise seems to be underappreciated too.
It does. The Revelations 2 is not that great. It's okay. It's not that great.
I heard the online's good in that game.
But Revelations 1 is amazing. It's one of my it's like my third favorite Resident Evil of all time, man.
It's one of the best Resident Evils ever made. Is the first Revelation.
Not bad for a 3DS game, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's true.
When it came out on the 3DS, it was mine. Were you guys not blown away when you first
I was blown away by the look.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that being like one of their launch like pictures, and people were just like, "Are you sure Resident Evil is coming to 3DS?" People didn't even believe it.
Yeah, people didn't believe how. And if you put it in 3D, oh man, it was so good in 3D. It looked even better because it kind of smoothed out some of those jaggies, man. And it was amazing on the Nintendo 3DS. But yeah, man. All right.
I'm picking up Final Fantasy 7. By
what
the way.
What about you?
I'm picking it up. I'm actually pretty hyped. We'll be reviewing it as well. So I think it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be a reimagining of the original game, and I'll just take it as face value like that. Similar to what you said, Stealth. Like it's not gonna be the same game. Just take it for what it is. It's just the base storylines loosely strung through, and hopefully it's good. I actually seen some stuff already. Some people are streaming it, and of course, sometimes you can't control yourself and you just want to watch. And I actually saw the dance scene already. So.
Yeah, I think the best way to think about it is a reimagining and not necessarily a remake because it's
Yep.
not the full game, and they are
Yeah.
making changes.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same.
I was saying before, it's a completely different game. They just put those models in it.
It's definitely a different game.
Just different.
Yeah,
Yep.
they use, of course, they have the story, the characters, and stuff like that, but the gameplay and everything is just kind of different. And once again, yeah, it is split up.
Yeah.
I mean, there is content. Like I said, it's the thing about it when people say it's not like a full game. Like, that doesn't mean it's not worth $60. It's just not the full Final Fantasy
Original
VII experience.
It's just that Midgar was like 10 hours in the first game, and now they've blown it up to be 40, 50. So that's
35, about 35, 40. I'm gonna pose this question to you guys. So because it's not a one to one, it's not a remake.
Oh
It's,
Lord.
It's
I'm asking that.
It's-
No. Is it because they didn't use the build? Matter of fact, VC, you're a chef, so I'm gonna throw a food analogy towards you, right?
He's a chef. I didn't even know that.
VC's
Yeah.
good at cooking, yeah.
So VC, you're a chef, right? So let's say you made this bomb steak, right? And then as you made the steak, you said, you know what? I want to make some stir-fried vegetables, and I want to make some, oven-baked potatoes. So then after the steak was done, you decided to make that, right? And you felt that combination was good, right? So you want to go ahead and make that meal all over again. Are you going to cook the steak from scratch, or are you going to cook all the meals cohesively?
Honestly, that's a hard thing to choose from as a chef because there could be many different reasons that you choose to make it that way.
But yeah, but
I
at the
think
same
a better
time,
analogy would be, what if you made a steak, but that steak was so good you wanted to recreate it, but you can't make it exactly the same. So you try and add different seasonings, different toppings, different stuff. That's what this game is, and it's still going to taste amazing. It's still going to be reminiscent of the original steak you had, but there's added flavor, added context to it. That's what that expanded
because
tenor.
the reason why I added the other stuff was because I was to give some symbolism.
Yeah,
The stir fried was like the prequels, and the potatoes is the sequels and stuff.
yeah.
Those stuff came though. No one's talking to you. Just like you told VC, no one's talking to you.
Go ahead. I ain't saying nothing. Go ahead.
I just explained it 'cause I didn't know what the potato was.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
So basically, since those things came out afterwards, it's can you really make the steak the same way as you did before?
I'm lost.
Can you, VC?
I'm not a chef. I'm lost as hell
Oh,
right now.
yeah,
I mean,
before
to
you
me,
go there, Baron,
I'll eat
If
anything
people
that
want
tastes
the
good.
original.
So-
Can I go now, please?
but before you go, Baron, can we get a consensus real quick?
Yeah, on your
This-
opinion. On
This
Final Fantasy VII,
this
before I
Final
answer that,
Fantasy
no,
game is not a port. Can we get that consensus?
It's
not
Oh,
a port,
definitely,
right?
it's not.
It's not,
Oh,
okay, it's not,
man.
It's not a port.
It's not
All
a
right.
port.
Not a port.
Now that we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Look, man. Do you not see how far we got to reach to make excuses for this damn game? We talking about making steaks and making baked potatoes and stir frying shit. We got to go to these lengths to try to make an
okay.
excuse for this damn
Obviously,
game.
potatoes in a
No.
roast.
Okay.
Took me
Let
2
me-
Do
hours
you
to make
understand
it.
how
They roll up
ridiculous?
my
No, let me.
sleeves.
No, you talk already. Let me
Put the
finish.
paprika,
Damn
they
it.
roll up
I don't
my
want to hear
sleeves.
no more.
Butter,
I don't want to hear no more. It's my turn now.
Himalayan
We had to
salt.
go to making steaks and baked potatoes and stir fried to make excuses for this damn game. That should alone tell you how ridiculous.
Some
this
people
is.
want sides.
So
with
to
their-
answer your
with their main
question,
course.
OJ, no, I am not buying Final Fantasy Remake Demo Edition. I'm not buying that. No,
Demo
I'm not.
edition?
Demo Edition. That's exactly what it is. It's
Okay.
a damn demo
Okay.
until they
All right.
until they finish the whole
Let me-
remake and
Here's
then
a
OJ.
bet-
sell it to
wait,
your
wait,
ass
Baron,
as a
Baron,
complete
Baron.
package.
OJ, hold up.
That's
Here's a better
exactly what's gonna
analogy.
happen.
Imagine that
Yo,
original
VC,
steak,
put a promo
but you
over
cut it into
Yo,
3
VC,
slices, and then you add mashed potatoes to the
Yo,
side.
VC,
and you only
we
eat
don't
one
even need
piece at a
analogies.
time. That's what it is.
We don't even need analogies. Let's just talk raw numbers now. Okay, so let's put this out there. Let's talk some facts out right now, right? If people wanted a 1-to-1 remake of Final Fantasy VII in high-res graphics, added content, and the same battle system, better music, does everyone here know you can get that for $20 right now?
Does
it's-
everyone know that
no,
we don't want that and we want a brand new high quality?
Does everyone know you
No,
can get that for $20?
No.
We want a one-to-one
Here's what people
remake.
wanted. When the game was first showed off, we all thought
No, I want to answer that question though. Does anyone you could get that right now?
No, people
for
wanted
$20?
modern graphics, not high res
modern.
graphics. They wanted modern graphics.
You just said this game could have PS3 graphics in your stream.
Yeah, that's
I got the receipt.
No. I said a little bit. I said a bit better than PS3 graphics. A bit better.
A bit. Yeah, that's not modern, and that's not modern. It was going to
PS3 is a modern. PS3 is HD. It's like modern graphics.
That's still. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Modern. That's what I'm saying. I'm still saying that modern.
The original Final Fantasy VII characters look like tile textures out of a bathroom. Come on.
What I'm saying,
they jump around.
It doesn't look good. Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is you can get the high res, like what you said, the high res and all that for $20 right now.
That's not what people were looking for. Actual modern graphics, not
remade.
What's not? Okay, so wait. You just said PS3 is high res. I said you could get high res.
No, PS3 has complex models and shading and modern technology built into the system to make games. PS3 and PS4, those can like if you look at a PS3 game, you're not gonna say, man, this is outdated. When you look at the best PS3 games, right? Look at the top. Look at Uncharted. Nobody's going to say Uncharted looks like crap. It's a modern base game. Now, if it's better, if they were able to do better than PS3, but they were able to put the full game in there, but it was still people would have liked that. However, you
mentioned the trial. You said if they made it look like Trials of Mana, people would have liked that.
Yeah,
you did say that.
No, but I said better than PS3. I just said better than what they're doing. People would have been fine with it. People would have been fine if they gave us the full
Are you
game.
Sure about that? Are you sure about that?
I'm positive about that.
Are you sure about that?
Let me
wait. Time out. Let me finish.
Let me say something.
Let me finish. The people who are hardcore, like a lot of the base for Sony, they wouldn't have been okay with that.
Not the Sony, no.
But all the hardcore RPG fans, they would have all been, oh my gosh, this is great. And if they would have added content, if it would have been, the base game that you get that looks really good. Because people wanted Final Fantasy VII on the PS3, right? They wanted it with great graphics on the PS3, and we all thought it was.
They wanted that tech. They wanted those tech demo graphics. But
that was a cutscene. That was a rendered cutscene. That wasn't going to be gameplay. We all knew that wasn't going to be gameplay. So what I'm trying to say is like they wanted great graphics and they wanted the game to be modern, but they also wanted. I mean, if you could add content in, that would be great too. People would be fine with that. Now with this thing appeals to the Western art. Like, look, I'm with you, Abaddon. I feel that they had to do this. You have to sell it to your base.
I feel like there's a lot.
Do what they did before. You can't. If you want to sell 10 million, 15 million copies, if you want to go all crazy with graphics, you got to do what they did. So I'm. But
I feel like there's a lot of. assumption. That's what I'm trying not to do. If you notice in a lot of what I'm saying, I'm addressing a lot of technical things and I'm bringing a lot of other things that without jumping into assumption, because it's a huge assumption to say the base of Final Fantasy VII, which I've been following that base. I'm not talking about any other. I'm talking about the people who've been waiting for this game for almost 20 years.
So you're telling me people that were been waiting for this game for 20 years wanted the game to be reimagined?
A lot of people
reimagined as a where they cut out. You don't go out of Midgar. Is that what people want? There's nobody that says, I don't want to go out of Midgar. No Red 13 playable. That's what people wanted.
Initially, this is not what people asked for. But guess what? What I have been seeing, though, I have yet to see the people who have been really waiting for this game for 20 years, like literally waiting. I have yet to see most. I've seen some, but I have seen more people way more open to the fact and way more enjoyable, like looking excited for this.
And
way more excited.
They're excited because it fits what the base of PlayStation at this point wants. What I'm saying, back then, if they would have gave us what I'm talking about, people would have been super hyped. They would have been like, oh man, I wish they would have cut out Midgar and all this stuff like that. People are hyped because it's great. It's a great game. It's still great. And regardless of all this nonsense, people are hyped because it looks great. The sound is awesome. The music is great. The graphics are amazing. And the gameplay is good. That's why people are excited for it. But you can't trick me to sit here and say that, oh, that's what people were looking for.
Oh, hold on, wait. Let me say this so we can end this real quick. Let's just end this. Let's end this B shit. I mean, this bullshit, please. Come on, Abaddon. Let's just end it, please. It is what it is. Okay, it's Final Fantasy VII Demo Edition. Okay, remake demo edition. That's what it is. You know what I mean? They're gonna
explain. No. You said BS. So explain how's the demo. Explain how's the demo.
I'm finna tell you. They're gonna sell it to you in probably 4 to 5 parts, and then when they done it, they're gonna sell it to you all together. So that's exactly what they're gonna do, and you know that's what they're gonna do. So on top of that, I'm gonna answer your question. If even if the game and they would have took any remake. Any fan would have took any remake that would have looked modern. They would even took a game that even looked like Final Fantasy 15. They would have took it if it looked like that. That would have been perfectly fine for people. If you would have gave them the full game and it looked like Final Fantasy 15, they would have been fine with that.
Would have been completely fine with that.
Yeah.
People would have been completely fine with that. I just can't stand y'all sitting up here making excuses for this game because you know how I feel about it. It's not about the franchise. It's about the business model of what they're doing. You know, I don't like it, and I'm not gonna cap for it. I'm not gonna sit there and cap for it. I'm not gonna make any excuses for it. There's no excuse. You cannot tell me you couldn't remake this whole damn game, a game that came from PS5.
In Final Fantasy 15 graphics. In Final Fantasy 15 graphics.
They couldn't have done it. I agree with Abaddon in this. They couldn't have
in Final Fantasy 15 graphics.
They couldn't have done it because the team was a disaster. People forget that they had to like restart this project like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. And to bring that up, what if it was supposed to be looking like that at first, and then they restarted it? That's a whole nother thing.
That could be it. But there's no way that they could make that whole game in Luminous, and it would have been. Luminous is a terrible engine. It really is. It's a terrible engine.
Well, I mean, it was, but I'm just giving them a concept. We know Final Fantasy VII Remake looks significantly better than what 15 looked like. I'm just giving the concept. If it looked somewhere similar or on par with 15 or similar, that would have been perfectly fine for people.
Yeah. Why are we assuming what the size of the game would be or how big the game would be based on?
I don't know why they're assuming that, but it's
based
just
on what the graphics look like.
I don't know.
I don't know bearing on that at all.
Because here's my thought process. You've got to, like, when you're making a game, you've got to focus on something. This comes from developers that I've spoke to. There's always a focus on something, right? We heard from that developer, what's his Naughty Dog dude, about what they do with their games. Notice how Naughty Dog games are very basic. Let's just be honest, they are. The single players, very basic. The biggest thing you do is you go over here, you find a little trinket in the sand or something like that, right? They're very basic. They're not very. You can't do, and they nail the presentation over and over and over and over and over and over and over. That's what they do. So you've got to focus on something when you're making a game. You can make it all around, but there's very few games that are that can do as big as like the graphics like Final Fantasy VII Remake, the size of a Xenoblade or like a Final Fantasy 15, and have everything. There's no games that are like that because it's going to cost too much. Like what games are like that? Barely anything.
But they've already spent the investment though because they made the engine. So now that they've made the engine, I mean, right now, the cost right now is just going to be adding new assets at this point.
No, but
designing levels. You've already built the engine.
But the time though, you have to make all the different, like all the areas outside of Minigard. Dude, Final Fantasy VII is huge.
And like that's the thing though. It's like you have to consider. It's like you're remaking a top down for the most part. For most of Final Fantasy VII, it was almost a top down RPG. Like you had almost a semi top down perspective, and you had to go through side by side loading screens. Like you had recreating that and making sure that's filled in well. And to what you're saying, Baron, in in Final Fantasy 15 graphics, like how much is that going to cost? And where I'm getting at is
why are we worried about the cost at this point?
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Can I?
It's not really a budget constraint, really.
Well, no, that does matter because you're saying you want all of that for $60. Do you get what I'm going with this? Like we
don't deserve to get all that for $60.
Not with those graphics, no.
Do you think the people who are working on this for endless hours deserve to only get paid that much if it's only $60?
I'm still not understanding the detail.
We're gonna move on topics, guys. But it's not. Look, I'll tell you something right now, and I think Stealth can also say it's not feasible to make that game as all of Final Fantasy VII with those graphics. It's not feasible. No, not with that.
Not that team.
It's not feasible. It's not feasible.
You zoom out and you make it smaller.
I don't give a damn what team you got. If you got to call Captain America, call Captain Planet. I don't give a damn what team you got to put together. Get it done.
Other Square Enix teams have made larger, like in terms of like world sizes than what we're
maybe
seeing with
for
Final
Square.
Fantasy VII. Yeah, it's just what happened. It's just what happened with that team is like they had to literally scrap the project like 2 years in, and start over. And there's only so much you can do like that. So, I mean, maybe like at some point there was plans to make it like, and really you can because we've seen RPGs that have multiple towns, multiple cities, it's not that crazy. But yeah, just because of how this particular project went, I think they had to steer it in the episodic direction if they wanted to get anything out at all before the PS4 was done.
I mean,
I can see that.
That's probably the biggest. That's probably you said probably the biggest key.
I can see that, and I still don't agree with
PlayStation
it.
4 games.
I'm hearing I'm not sure if you post this, but I'm hearing $300 million for this game development cost.
I didn't post that. I mean, it could have been. I mean, honestly, it could have been more. I mean, I don't really know.
So, I mean, that's what I forgot who said it or what it was. It might be wrong, but I mean, we're talking like just $300 million. I mean, this game,
which means they're rushing it.
I personally feel you have a base that you've got to sell. This is my honest feeling, is that you have a base that you need to sell to. You need to make it approachable for newcomers. Like, I'm telling you, the Western audience gets really fidgety when you make huge games that have all sorts of stuff in there and that are complex and in-depth. They get really fidgety with that type of stuff. We've seen it with Xenoblade. We've seen it with even with Persona to a degree. Yes, they give Persona good scores. That's because they're afraid of the fan base. And they don't know what to say, because Persona's a very clean game. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I don't think
you might have a point. I get you on that.
I don't think that the reviewers who are reviewing Persona like it as much as they say they do. But that's just my opinion, because whenever I read these reviews, they sound so dry and basic, like a basic Tinder profile. They don't sound like there's no flavor to any of these reviews that I'm watching or that I'm hearing. But anyway, that's just my thought process. But we'll move on. We've got something else to talk about here, and I wanted to discuss it, but we're gonna end out on this because
what's next?
So we got 15 minutes.
No. We're gonna do about 20. We're gonna go about 7:30 or 7:45ish. We're not gonna go past the 2-hour mark. I wanted to start. I wanted to end with this, or we'll finish out. Whatever. There's big Animal Crossing sales, but that's whatever. Baron thinks.
Oh Lord,
Baron is right on this one. Baron don't give up Final Fantasy 7.
Let him finish.
Baron thinks the N64 is better than the Super Nintendo and the GameCube.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Whoa! Let's stop you right. Let me correct you first of all. This thing between me and OJ started between the GameCube versus the 64. It was never about Super Nintendo versus 64. It was about GameCube versus 64.
Yes, GameCube versus 64.
And I'm only here to argue the point of GameCube.
So you're 64. Wow, you're a fraud. So you're backing out of the Super Nintendo?
Hold on, wait a minute. I'm not backing out, because the thing was, you started with me on that. That's what we was arguing about.
Man, you don't want to catch any of this Super Nintendo.
No. No, it ain't got nothing to do with heat. It has the fact that that's the system I started on.
Okay, fine.
So to me, those two systems are equal to me.
Baron thinks,
but GameCube is not better than 64.
Baron thinks the N64 is better than the GameCube. So Baron, what are your points to why the N64?
What are my points?
Yeah, points.
What are my points? You want me to go to your points?
I'm
going to sit here. I'm just going to name 3 games off the bat that will destroy the whole argument.
Okay.
Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Good.
Mario 64.
Okay.
007 GoldenEye.
Oh, my man.
Perfect Dark.
You said
Banjo-Kazooie.
That's 5.
All right.
Paper Mario.
Okay. 4 of those don't.
Do I have to keep going? Conker's Bad Fur Day.
All the wrestling games.
The original Mario Party.
The original wrestling games.
Doesn't be Resident Evil 4.
WCW vs. NWO World Tour. WCW vs. NWO Revenge. WWF 2 WrestleMania 2000. WWF No Mercy.
No Mercy.
Okay. Diddy Kong Racing. Diddy Kong Racing. Donkey Kong Racing.
Out of all those games that you mentioned, which one of those games are better than Resident Evil 4?
Excluding Ocarina of Time and excluding...
How many of those games are better than Resident Evil 4?
Stop it.
How many of those games are better than Resident Evil 4?
VC, shut your damn mouth right now.
I'm right
now. Resident Evil 4 is the argument.
How many of those games you just mentioned are better than Resident Evil 4?
First of all, you are not going to have me turn on my baby RE4. You're not.
No,
but this is what's going to happen.
It's a trap.
What's going to happen. You think it's a trap, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Evil.
We can stack up both libraries and 64 destroys the GameCube.
You lost. No.
I didn't lose.
Because you don't want to sit there and say the facts. The facts are Resident Evil 4 crushes everything that you just mentioned. It beats everything. Resident Evil
does not, because RE4, listen, hold up. RE4 and Ocarina of Time are like they cancel each other out to me.
They're
like
equal, right?
Including Mario 64.
They're
You
equal.
throw that in
But
there.
after
one
that,
equaled out.
there's nothing left for you after that.
Okay,
There's nothing
so
left for you.
let me ask
I agree and disagree on that one.
Time out. Let me ask you a question.
There's nothing left for you
Okay,
after that.
Let me ask you a
There
question.
it
There's
is.
nothing
Okay.
on
I'll mention it in a
GameCube
minute.
that's stacked up
Wait
to
a
the
minute.
stuff I just listed.
Let me ask you a question. What about
Nah,
okay?
you just mentioned
What?
a bunch.
Let me ask you a question. What about Legend of Zelda Wind Waker? What about Legend of Zelda?
That's better than Majora's Mask.
Twilight Princess. I think Wind Waker's better than Majora's Mask. Yes,
Twilight Princess was on the Wii as well.
but it's on the GameCube too. So stop. And the better version's on the GameCube. What about that? What about
The
Skies
better
of
version was
Arcadia?
on GameCube. I don't know about that one.
The GameCube version's the best.
I don't
version.
know about that one.
The Wii version. The Wii version's okay, but I like the GameCube version better. But anyway, regardless.
Okay.
What about Skies of Arcadia?
So Skies of Arcadia is better than Perfect Dark.
Yes.
Wow.
Obviously.
Yes!
Wow.
Yes.
So it's better than Perfect Dark, 007,
What about
Mario 64.
Paper Mario Thousand
What about
Year
Paper
Door
Mario
is-
1000? What about Paper Mario 1000-Year Door? What about
Yo,
Paper
no,
Mario
that's
1000-Year
the
Door?
time. That's a
Bruh.
fact.
What about
We got
Paper
to
Mario
rewind.
1000-Year Door?
So Scars of Arcadia is better than all those games I listed.
What about?
I
Wait,
I
let me
will say
finish.
just
No,
RPGs in general.
no. We trying to hold a point card here. Skies of Arcadia is better than all
Skies
those
of
games I
Arcadia is
listed.
definitely better than a lot of the games that you listed.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God.
That's way
I'm
too
done.
subjective.
I am done.
Absolutely.
I'm not.
We're comparing RPGs to
That
fighting
is
games.
way exactly.
That's-
That's
Scars
super
of Arcadia is
Who
better
does
than
that?
Mario 64.
No, I didn't say better than Mario 64. I said it's better than a lot of the games you
any
listed.
of the games that I listed.
Yeah, you're
We are keeping a
like
score list here.
WWE
Mario
wrestling
Strikers.
games and stuff. You're
No.
just like a bunch of
We-
wrestling
we-
games.
whoa,
and
whoa,
stuff.
whoa,
Stop
it.
You are not going to
Stop
put no
it.
shade on No Mercy in those games. No.
No, you need to
No.
quit it, man.
No, you
know
need to
this
quit
is
it.
foolish. You know this is
N64 got
foolish.
no RPGs. It got zero.
know
It's
this
like
is-
barely any
That's the only
RPGs.
reason you upset because it doesn't have that many
Bots and
RPGs.
Kaitos.
Super
Doesn't have
the
Smash
library-
Brothers Melee.
The library on 64
Mario
Smash
is
Melee.
better than the
Double
GameCube.
Dash. My
Double
favorite
Dash.
F-Zero GX.
F-Zero
Pikmin
GX.
1 and 2. Like,
Dude, come on.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
hold up,
yeah.
OJ. Let me put you like this since you want to act slow.
And I love
We
Mario
had
Kart,
Ocarina
that's
of Time and RE4 cancel each other out, right? My next
Fire
game I'm putting.
Emblem.
We're playing spades now. The next trump card I'm throwing out is Mario 64.
What
Beat
about-
it. What you gonna beat it with?
trump card-
What you gonna beat Mario 64 with?
I like Sunshine better than
Resident
64.
Evil 4 is already done. What you
We're
beat
talking
Mario
about
64
overall
with?
library, not beating out
Yeah.
one by
Yes,
one.
overall
That's beating out
library.
one by one.
Yeah.
You played your Resident Evil card. I played my Ocarina of Time
want me to play
card.
my other
I
Resident Evil?
played my
I said
N64
earlier,
Wait,
card.
time out.
What are you playing?
Let me play
What
my
are
next
you going
Resident-
against 64?
Let me
What
play-
are you putting against Mario 64, damn it?
Pull the
Mario
L.
Sunshine. I
Pull
like
the
that
L
game.
book. Oh wait, you're on the same side.
mean,
What
hold
card
up.
are you going to
Take
play
it.
against Mario 64? Tell me right now.
It's not
I
about
just said-
It's not about cards.
Metroid Prime.
It's about Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime is very good. There you go, Metroid Prime.
Oh, Metroid Prime. I love me some Metroid Prime.
Zelda Wind Waker is better
we
than Majora's
even
Mask.
now.
We
We
can
still
agree on
even now. We still even. So let's move on down.
Yeah, I mean,
Metroid Prime.
I mean,
I love me
it's-
some
I
Metroid
mean,
man.
Hold up,
Wait,
though.
come
Hold
on.
up, though.
Let's still talk. Let's still talk.
We're gonna go through the whole library so this man can understand.
No, we're
that
not.
system
We're not
was
going through the whole
It's-
because
N64 destroys GameCube and wrestlers, and GameCube destroys N64 and RPGs. Like,
RPGs and everything else.
And everything else?
Yeah.
You wait, so we're gonna ignore
Well,
that Killer Instinct
Mario-
Gold is not a real thing.
I know.
Are we
we-
gonna
we
really
know.
ignore Killer Instinct Gold is not a real thing?
Killer Instinct Gold.
Yes.
I mean, that's a good game, but I mean, there's like Capcom
Killer
versus
Instinct's
SNK.
good.
Okay,
There was no
I
Killer
think
Instinct on
y'all
GameCube.
need to get your
That is true.
nostalgia goggles off because I was born in that era and I love the 64, but the GameCube's better.
No, it's not. That's why I want to go through all the major
Library
hits. So
too.
you
What
can
about
understand that it's not.
Luigi's Mansion? What about Luigi's Mansion?
Wario World.
I got plenty of games.
We got Wario
What about
World on
Wario
GameCube.
World? What about
I-
Resident?
What about
oh,
Yoshi's Story?
Oh, what about this? What about this? Resident Evil remake, the original Resident Evil.
Yep, for
the
number one.
sickest
Yeah, the
remake on the GameCube. That
Yeah.
game
Okay.
was
All right.
freaking amazing. Tell me a game that's better than that one right there, bro.
Resident Evil 4.
Or is the
And to be fair, Resident Evil 2 on N64 was pretty damn good. That was an awesome effort.
Resident Evil Zero. What about
The
that
way
game?
I-
Resident Evil
Oh,
0
well,
was on
hey,
N64 also. It just never
Wait,
came
no,
over.
was it?
Yes, it was. It wasn't N64 game.
No,
It
was
just
it
never
good?
came over.
It never
It
came
was.
out.
It
though.
never came out. The Resident
It
Evil
never
games
came
on the
out
N64 were
on
trash. Let's just be honest.
I mean, the way I see it, like N64 has a really great like 30 games, but the GameCube library is just significantly broader, especially third party wise.
Yeah.
Third party wise, it is wide. It is broad.
Yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, I mean, like I've said it before, like when people compare the N64 and the PS1, yeah, I mean, PS1 had like an infinitely larger library, but I'll take N64's top 20. I'll compare them with the top 20 because
I play. No, go ahead.
yeah, but just because like N64's top 20 is ridiculously strong.
Yes,
You know,
But
is.
RPGs though.
yeah,
The
it's missing it.
RPGs,
It's missing it.
that's the biggest problem.
The RPG.
N64 had like 3
That was
RPGs.
PS1.
Three
Mario.
RPG.
It had Paper Mario, it had Ogre
Quest
Battle
64,
64, and like Quest 64,
Quest
and maybe
was horrible.
Aiden. And that was it.
Crest was a trash game.
But PS1 was like,
What is it?
Yeah.
whatever RPG you got, we got.
Okay,
Yeah.
and check this out with the GameCube.
But here's the
the
here's the
GameCube
thing.
also had Mario Strikers, right?
Okay.
It had Mario. It had the baseball. Did it have a baseball one on there too?
It had a
That-
baseball game. It had
baseball was
the
on
better
there.
golf
The
game, the better
baseball?
tennis game.
And it had a better
Yeah,
golf. And it had a better. It had
Wonders was
golf.
amazing.
No, I
baseball.
don't know about a better golf.
It had a better
No,
wave race.
it was a better.
No,
golf.
it did
Those
not have
two
a better
tournaments
golf.
fire.
Not better.
No.
Okay. I thought the GameCube game was
Better.
The GameCube one was
No.
significantly
Better
better.
than
The only one I
in
like.
my opinion.
I thought it was better, but
No.
okay. If you don't think it
Yeah.
is, whatever. But you can't sit
Hell
here and say
no.
Mario Strikers wasn't lit. You can't sit here and say Double
And
Dash
Sluggers
wasn't more lit.
And Double Dash. Yep.
Double Dash wasn't more lit. It crushes the N64 Mario Kart. Double
Well,
Dash.
hold on. What? That's one of
crushes
the
it.
best parts ever made of
No,
64.
No,
Oh,
listen.
come
What
on,
are you
man.
talking
See,
about?
man, you
No.
tripping now, bro. You trying to sit here and tell us, oh, Mario Kart 64 is better than Double
Party Man or
Dash.
Wii M in here.
Hold
No,
up, bro.
they'll
Tripping,
still
bro.
argue
Good.
on
First
this.
of all, the 64 already kills the GameCube when it
Okay,
comes to
stop.
shooters with GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. Period.
Wait.
No, Resident
It
Evil.
does.
Period.
Wait a minute. No, it doesn't.
Period.
Not even
Wait a
real
minute.
Yes, it does.
No, it's more.
GameCube had no shooters.
Wait,
What's
time
the
out.
damn?
No.
What are you
No,
talking about?
GameCube had shooters. And what's it
I
called?
swear to God, if you name that, I
Dude,
would jump
Nightfire
the
was
screen
dope.
if
I
you
like
named that
Nightfire.
Very
Oh my
good.
God.
I need suplex, yeah.
game. You just think Nightfire. I know you think they don't Nightfire.
Time Splitters. It had time, dude. Time Splitters was
Time Splitters is
amazing.
good.
Well, but we also had Doom 64.
Time
We
Splitters
also
was, dude. The shoot.
Nightfire.
We had Geist.
Nightfire.
We had Geist.
Nightfire.
We had Geist on the N6 or on the
Baron,
the
so
game.
bad.
Geist was
everyone
garbage.
here,
Are you
Baron, is telling you to take the L, Baron. Everyone's saying it in the chat.
You guys tripping, man. You tripping, man.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
GameCube
They listed
had
some
some
four
shooters.
games in the chat. They listed Pokemon Stadium, listed Road Squadron. I forgot about
Stadium
that
is
game.
Road
a good
Squadron,
game.
Star Fox 64.
Star
You had
Wars Episode
This
1
just a
Racer.
sample. Y'all
That
tell me.
was
Y'all
even
tell me
you
what
had
y'all think.
Shadows of the Empire,
Look,
which
I mean,
was
I'm
highly
looking at
underrated
game
game.
facts now.
Crazy, bro.
At the library of the GameCube, and there's some games I even forgot. Like we haven't even mentioned Animal Crossing started on the
Yes.
GameCube.
The original Animal Crossing.
There was an amazing Fire Emblem game on the
Yeah,
GameCube.
Animal
Path
Crossing
of
started on
Radiance.
N64.
Yeah.
Path of Radiance
I
is
mentioned that.
amazing.
Kirby
That
and
game's
Kirby
great.
Air Ride.
Star Fox 64? Come on, bro.
Star Fox
What?
64 was amazing.
Double Dash, right there. That destroys the whole N64
Pokemon
library.
Snap,
Okay,
Fox-
but
Pokemon
time out
Stadium?
there.
Come
Time out.
on, bro.
Okay,
That's
Star
it.
Fox
That's
64 is
dope.
amazing, but what about Assault
I love
and
that
Star
game.
Fox Adventures?
Star Fox,
It had
so good.
Assault and Adventures. You got best of both.
Assault was booty cheeks.
No, it
okay?
wasn't. No, it wasn't. What the-
Yo, Baron, you
I
like
like
the
it.
wood.
Oh,
Adventures
Metal
was
Gear
cool.
Solid.
Metal Gear Solid. All right,
Metal
it's
Gear
over.
Solid
It's
Twin
over.
Snakes.
Sorry.
Beautiful
Oh,
Joe.
whoop-de-doo. Metal Gear finally comes back to Nintendo. Twin Snakes. Wow.
It's a remake of the best one at the time, dude.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-damn-do.
Burnout 2. Dude,
Whoop-de-doo.
Bear, you're getting crushed. I'm
Whoop-de-doo.
sorry.
No, you getting
No, you're
crushed.
getting bodied.
You are getting
You're
crushed.
getting bodied.
Baron,
Stop
you're the
it.
only one here.
Bots and
getting-
Kaitos? Come on, dude. Come on.
Come on, man. Conquer's Bad Fur Day. Come on.
No, it's not Resident Evil 4.
I'll have to mention
That
that, too,
wasn't
bro.
really
Yo,
a game.
Baron.
Baron, I can play
Come
as
on, Ron.
Mario
The first
in
Turok,
NBA Street
Dinosaur
V3
Hunter,
and
1080
Shaquille O'Neal,
snowboarding, dog,
LeBron James,
Excite Bike
and Kevin
64.
Durant at the same time.
Get out of here, man. I
Yo,
want to hear
man,
that.
we
I'm
got
a-
you.
Man, I wish I was back in. I'll break out all my N64 games right now.
And
Come on,
what
man.
N64. You
Hold
bring
on.
out 20
Plug in.
N64 and
Here we
15
go.
to 20 N64.
Really? We go in there.
Okay.
I have a couple N64 games right here.
I am going
First
to
one
put
was really
together a
damn good, but this right here,
Jet Force Gemini, that goat. Come
Okay,
on, bro.
so let me ask you a
ain't
question. What about what's the best Metroid game on the N64?
Really though.
You
What
gotta
about-
go with
Oh, that's
Lost.
What's the
You
best
wanna
Fire
go
Emblem game? You got a great Fire Emblem game on the
Yeah.
N64?
We really
What
gonna
about
go.
that
Metroid and Fire
Crossing
Emblem,
game?
anybody?
You
On
beat-
the
you
N64?
beat-
Oh, we
wait.
being petty.
Wait,
You being
what's the-
petty.
No, we ain't being petty.
What?
Y'all just wrong.
But here's the thing.
No, where's your Metroid game, bruh? Where's the Metroid game at?
We all know Metroid skipped 64.
Oh, it
Stop playing,
skipped
bro.
it. It did skip
playing.
it.
Yo, Baron, Abaddon. Here's how I know you guys are wrong. You didn't mention this great game on. Kirby,
Oh,
Kirby
that Kirby
64.
That's one of the
Yeah, that
best
Kirby
games.
Shark
on
game.
Oh, another
That's
first-person
dope.
shooter. Let me mention some other stuff. Red Faction 2. Did you guys ever play Red Faction 2 on the GameCube?
I have that as well.
It's not such a GoldenEye, though.
has nothing on no GoldenEye. No,
It has nothing on GoldenEye.
No,
Nothing.
iconic it doesn't. In terms of gameplay, dude,
No.
obviously it
No.
plays much better than GoldenEye. Look, 20
Stop
frames
it.
per
Stop
second.
Come on.
You are really
Quit.
reaching right now.
Quit.
Yo.
This game plays
Not
at
fair.
20 frames
You
per
are
second.
so
Stop.
Not
It's
fair.
broken on
fair
N64.
at
No
all.
one can
Yeah,
even
but
play
you're
anymore.
bugging.
Like
You pick Odd Job. You pick Odd Job, and everybody just Odd
destroy
Job destroys everybody.
Come on, man.
Not fair.
Let's be real here.
Not fair at
You
all.
need to stop.
What
it,
about
dog.
this? What about this?
Reach is like a mug, bro.
Hold up. What about this?
Reaching, that's you.
Time Splitters
Yeah.
1, Time Splitters 2. You have Metroid Prime 1, Metroid Prime 2. You also have what was it? Well, you have Medal of Honor. You have Medal of Honor games.
Medal
on
of
there.
Honor.
Call of Duty
This
games
dude-
on there.
this dude
I
used
had
Medal
that
of
game
I
on
don't know why
GameCube,
you
dog. Are
mentioned
you
Medal
serious
of Honor.
right
You
now?
said there's no
Medal of
first-person
Honor.
shooters.
Medal of Honor.
Yeah, but that game isn't good.
Oh my
You said
god.
there's no first-person shooters. You said
You
there's
know,
no
you
first-person
know how
shooters.
much, you know how much of a secret hater you are, OJ.
Yo, bro.
All this
Medal of
time
Honor.
you're talking about GameCube, you didn't mention Soul Calibur 2 not once.
That's why I was waiting for you
Not
to mention that.
once.
We're not.
I was waiting for Soul
Not
Calibur
even
2.
one time.
There's fighters.
I'm
Look,
personally
it,
not-
it brings my point. The GameCube has so many games, I'm forgetting them. That's the thing.
no, you got a Soul Calibur hater.
The GameCube got so many games, I don't even remember all of them.
Stop it.
That's how many games. I had Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube. It was great. It was great.
I got so many
Like
games,
Link,
they falling
right?
all over me, man.
You can't sit here and tell me this no RPG having system is better than the GameCube.
I love how you- I love how you
use
use that as your bullet point.
I know RPG. That's
Well, my
it.
bullet point is that they skip
GameCube has more
Metroid.
games
There's
than
no
better.
Metroid. There's no Fire Emblem. There's
No
no
Animal
Animal Crossing. There's no anything. What are you
And all those
talking
things
about?
exist.
Hey,
at that
hey,
time, and that was like
N64
4 or
got
5
sin and
years.
punishment. The end, bro. Over.
Yeah, exactly. So, and
We're
it's
talking
good
about
it
we were
wasn't
talking about PlayStation 5
You
and
can nostalgia
Xbox
goggles
Series
on.
X
We
earlier.
got
You know what? And you know what
nostalgia
else?
goggles.
You know what
They're
else?
all
Hold
trying
up.
to do what this game does.
First of all, I'm gonna say this. What
I love
OJ,
Metroid Prime.
I'm really surprised. No one
Seamless
here
loading.
mentioned that the GameCube has Fantasy Star Online. I'm really surprised no one mentioned even
We
that.
mentioned
yet.
Oh, I was gonna
RPGs.
pull that out, but I
We
would have
mentioned-
still more games.
We mentioned RPGs. The thing about you guys are leading into our argument saying, "Hey, you're not mentioning this game and this game." And this. You guys are leading into our argument.
101 Mario 64.
Hey, remember that great game on the
Resident
GameCube?
Evil 4, dude.
Remember that game on the great game on the GameCube? Oh, remember that great game? You guys aren't mentioning it, dude. That's not helping you guys' point.
And
Listen.
N64 had the better Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games.
Oh no, get out of here.
No, dude, that Pro Skater game was trash. That was
That's
better on
not
the
true.
PS1.
The first two were way better. What are you talking about?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 it played better than the
3.
than the N64 ones on the game.
3? Y'all liked 3?
No, it
Are
just
you
said it
kidding
played
me?
better because the PS1 versions were like PS1 versions had more music
What?
and they were better.
Oh, well, we know. Come on, I ain't giving a damn about the music. Game still played the damn same. I bought both.
Okay,
versions.
I'm gonna check my donation. I'm gonna check my donations because everyone's donating and saying stuff. So the Icarus donated. $10 and says, "I personally think the GameCube is better than the N64, but sorry, OG, Ocarina of Time is far superior and impactful than RE4. Ocarina of Time is okay. The game
That's
literally
true.
changed the gaming landscape. A
couple of these got
All
mentioned,
I
so
know
I figure I
is one
show 'em.
game was ported 1,000 times and one
I
wasn't.
will agree, and I will say that yes, Ocarina of Time definitely
Yo, facts,
introduced
take that down.
Z targeting. But I'm telling you, every single third-person shooter and the way that shooters are made today was based off of Resident Evil 4. Gears,
Yeah, we know
Uncharted.
Yeah.
There are so many that are based off of Resident
Exactly.
Evil 4.
Yeah, but
And-
at the
and-
time,
Yeah,
at the
go ahead.
time, there was no more anticipated game than
Love Wind
Ocarina of
Waker.
Time ever.
No, Ocarina of Time
yeah.
is definitely the more innovative game, and I'll give it that, and I'll completely give it that.
Yeah.
You need to
You
give
know?
that to Mario 64 as well.
No,
so
of course,
trying to skip that.
N64 is a very innovative system. It is more innovative at the time that it came out.
It's about
than the
time you
GameCube.
gave it some
So,
respect.
but the GameCube took everything the N64 did wrong and said, "Let's do this right." You see what I'm saying? Am I not
But
correct?
it still
They
didn't
said,
have
"Let's
It
improve."
took a lot of
Let's
N64
improve
projects
frame
to
rates.
GameCube too,
Let's
so.
get RPGs. Let's get a wider variety of games, not just platformers. Let's get shooters.
okay,
Let's
what-
get way more third-party support.
Okay,
GameCube did everything right.
Let's
compared
not
to
act like third party support was just overwhelmingly dripping. Like, come on.
GameCube third-party support was
to
very
GameCube?
good.
Yeah.
It was
Damn near
way
every
better
game
than
came to
64.
GameCube.
Yes,
Way better than 64. Way better.
But
than
let's not act like they was like having lunch
It-
every damn day.
Oh,
All
no,
I gotta
they were
say
having lunch
is
and
one
they had
game on
appetizers for
GameCube
dinner.
got a 99 Metacritic. Now
Yes.
let me know that.
It's the overall library. We all acknowledge
what
that
we're talking
Ocarina of
about.
Time is
Yeah.
is the superior, the best game because of
Yeah,
the way.
library.
But personally, like I said, It's like GameCube's no slouch. It has Twilight Princess.
I didn't say it was a
and
slouch.
Wind Waker. So while it
it's
doesn't have
definitely
Ocarina of
behind
Time,
the 64.
it's
That's
got
all.
Wind
actually
Waker
have that.
and
It
it's
does
got
have
Twilight
Ocarina of
Princess.
Time, OJ. It does.
Well, technically, it doesn't have it.
It's on the
you know.
GameCube.
We're talking about like the actual
The
like
original version,
where
I
it
know,
launched
but
first.
It is on the
you know.
GameCube. Master Quest.
Which
You're
Mortal
right.
Kombat was that?
Deception.
Deception.
Ugh.
Okay,
That was not
we
good.
got some more donations coming through. Andre Wine donated $5. Says N64 was the better system. It had the greatest game ever made. Okay, he's talking about and Andre Wine donated another $5. Says N64 had Animal Crossing and Buck Bumble best system, bro. Well, not technically. Like I think it
In
was a
Japan,
64
Animal
Japan.
Force.
Japan
Buck
only.
Bumble, Lord have
64
mercy. I
DDE.
miss
It
Buck
was the
Bumble.
64
Yeah,
DDE.
Goshen the
Japan.
Giant too over there.
Yeah, I mean, Animal Crossing was, I think, literally the last game released for the N64. Like, there was none after that. So,
And Cubivore, I think, but it wasn't Cubivore over there. It was Animal Leader.
But like I said, it's not about what system is the most innovative system, which you guys are saying, no, it's the most. No. It's about.
We're
what
not saying that
is
we took the overall
better
library.
Overall library. People are saying,
And
oh,
64
innovative.
has a better overall library.
It
No,
doesn't.
Baron. We just
Yes,
said,
it does.
we
It
just
does.
said
If you-
30
if you
games.
talk
You
about-
guys only named 12 games, so I'm sorry.
If you talk about
We
top,
named way more than 12 games, but anyway.
Nah,
If
we
if you
just
talk
named
about
30
top tens, then maybe I'm guessing at that point. If
Yeah.
you're talking about just the critically acclaimed games for both consoles, maybe. But if you talk about the overall breadth of the entire library, like it's not fair for N64.
yeah, I mean, you can go 200 deep for GameCube. I don't know if you can go 200 deep.
Let me ask you.
I mean,
let me ask you a question.
Just be
Did
okay.
you guys
we-
know? Check this out. The GameCube has
This alone,
and that
Boy,
also
if you don't put that down, that
No,
is the
this alone.
God, I hate that.
Madden 07. That was fun back
You're
in
gonna
the day.
make me
But
grab some of my
let me tell you
favorite
guys this: the GameCube has. Did you guys know that the GameCube has an attach rate of 20 systems or 20 games per system?
Yeah, it was 10
How
to
much is
1.
the
It was
GameCube?
11 to
20
1 a long time ago.
20
How much is the
games per
GameCube sell?
system. It only sold 20, I think 21 million, but it has
Okay.
20. It sold over 210 million pieces of software. The game,
Yeah.
the system, 20 games.
The average
per
person bought
system.
40
Yeah.
games.
No, average person bought 20
Yeah.
games.
20, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
20.
Average person bought 20. That's how
And my library
Sick.
was 20 plus games too.
I know. But here's the thing: N64 sold way more than the GameCube, right?
I think I just showed
But
like 40
yet,
months.
GameCube software sales per system
The
way
best
more.
Mario Party, no debate.
VC, shut the hell
No
up.
debate. Better than
I
3,
wanna
better than
hear that
2,
garbage,
better than
bro.
1. Nah,
But anyway,
Mario
Nothing beats Mario Party
best.
1 and 2.
Nope.
Period. That's
Man,
it.
That,
But,
that
I mean,
destroyed your
that's it.
controller. No.
There's a point to be had about
I don't care if it
N64
destroyed the
though,
controller. It was
because
good as hell.
N64 is home to the most acclaimed, the best acclaimed shooter of all time, 3D platformer of all time, obviously Legends of the Ocarina of Time. So it's kind of it depends on how you want to look at it, really.
Not Hunter, you're wrong.
If you want to look at, hey, which of these critical must-have games,
Yo,
which
Heather
which
gave me
has
with
higher
the
value?
facts. Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. That's facts.
Yeah, I got Mario Mix too. But
That
yeah,
is-
if you talk about just the breadth of software, man, it's not fair for it's not fair for N64. And then it didn't help that projects that started on N64 came over to GameCube, and it was like just night and day.
Like
You
Smash
could see
Brothers.
the difference of what happened. And even then, like sequels to games, like I just showed Rogue Leader, like Rogue Squadron 1 was an awesome game, and it was
Rogue Leader was a good game too.
it did everything you needed to do as far as maxing out what the N64 could do.
I actually have a question. for
Rogue
the panel.
Squadron 2 it looked like a movie.
Oh, and
Straight up.
I'm sorry, I can't count Michael
Just one-
O'Brien. I looked up the official numbers. 21.74 million units sold. 208 million point 57. So
Almost there.
not 20 per system. So I can't count. The N64 sold 32.93 million and had 224 million pieces of software sold. So
Yeah, GameCube sold more software per unit.
way more software per unit. But the N64 sold a lot more because I think that the N64, in terms of the competition too, Xbox came in that generation with Halo and stuff like that.
Games were more expensive too. To be fair, for N64, like some games, I bought Killer Instinct Gold for $80 when it first.
I bought Pokemon Stadium for $69.99. It was at launch.
Yeah.
I saved up
games
for
aren't
a year.
cheap.
I saved up for a year for that game. So when I was back in the day, I saved up for a
Damn,
whole
man.
year. It took me a whole year to buy that
You
game.
really wanted that game, didn't you?
I really want it. No, I used to get like queasy when like the commercial would come on TV and I didn't have the game yet. I was like, I need this game. Like I was a huge Pokemon fan. That was my favorite.
Oh no,
I have a
we didn't forget about Smash on 64. It's just the fact that he would have said
Melee outclasses.
No,
we would have said Melee, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Melee outclasses 64.
And Double Dash outclasses Mario 64 too. Can we agree on that? That was what I was about to say.
I'm not giving you that. I would not give you that, but I'll give you the one.
I give Double Dash its respect,
64.
But I'm not gonna give you
Let
Double
me ask you a
Dash.
question, Baron. So what stacks up to Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on the N64?
Oh god, really? Fire Emblem Path of Radiance?
Yeah, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Yeah, what stacks up to
So
that?
we talking about keeping it genre or what I think is a
I'm
better
just saying, I mean, like, what stacks up to like Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, or like what stacks up to some of these big
to me
RPGs that are, you know what I'm saying?
Someone just RPG. I mean, there ain't no
style.
RPGs on 64 even.
Isn't that a big problem?
At the
Especially when they
time,
had
it
the
was not a big
SNES
problem.
after.
No, it was a big
Yeah,
problem because look at the
SNES beforehand.
PlayStation crushing it with RPGs.
It wasn't a
Yeah.
big problem to me because multiplayer was just coming a really bigger thing at that point in time, and people was worried about multiplayer.
Baron,
That's
you're
why
picking and
it was so.
choosing.
No,
I'm not picking and choosing. That was the.
Then look,
That was
PlayStation
boy. That was
wouldn't
the
have crushed
whole
it.
fucking
Then
movement.
why did
during
PlayStation
this
crush it
generation
then?
was
Because
multiplayer.
everyone was buying Final Fantasy VII and buying RPGs on PlayStation. What are you talking about? bro?
They were, but multiplayer games were big movement then. That's why GoldenEye was such a big hit. That's why the PlayStation got that extension thing that made 4 players on their damn console.
But
multiplayer was a big thing back.
But RPGs took off, and the N64 didn't have them, man. Like,
yeah, that's
RPGs did have a significance, but it wasn't as big as the impact as multiplayer was at that point in time.
I get what OJ's trying to say. What OJ's trying to say is like they had the momentum with the Super NES when you had games like Chrono Trigger and the Mana game, Secret of Mana, and for those who played in Japan, Seiken Densetsu 3, and even Breath of Fire. Yeah. Like you had these games on the Super NES, and it had momentum. In fact, not just the Super NES, you even had some of these games on the Game Boy. You had RPGs on the Game Boy itself, and to not have that momentum going into your next gen console, it did hurt, Nintendo badly in terms of
Final Fantasy VII not being on the N64.
It was supposed to be on there.
It crushed it. Can we not sit there and say that was the reason why? One of the big reasons why it lost stealth. What do you think, man?
I don't think. Well, what happened?
The sad part is it was possible. It could have been done.
I mean, Final Fantasy VII was going to be on the N64, but like from my understanding is like Square wanted them to move to CDs, and Nintendo just wouldn't.
Yeah.
And so then that's when they moved it. And that's basically when the CEO of Nintendo basically said, like, you're dead to me.
Yeah.
And then they just went to PlayStation, and then the relationship wasn't restored until GameCube.
If N64, and by the way, speaking of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is also on the GaMcube, which is a freaking amazing game. Which is an amazing game. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is really good. Did you play that game, Baron? Did you know anything about
I bought that game at launch.
Okay, if you play with your friends, it's actually a really good game. Multiplayer that you're talking about, right? It's a really, really, really good game. Someone on the N64. What was the equivalent of like Final Fantasy? Anything like that?
You keep going to RPGs, dog. That's not the only genre in gaming. That's not the only genre in gaming.
What about like Tales of Symphonia? That's a pretty good game.
We just destroyed you in the shooter department, but you have nothing to say about that.
You talking about shooters, man?
You keep beating on this damn RPG genre. I understand that's your favorite genre. I understand that's your favorite genre, but that's not the only genre in the world.
N64 only has.
I got you.
And GameCube got every single genre N64 got, and then some. And the
GameCube
RPG
had more fighting games.
But the wrestlers were better on N64.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's
obvious, but that's a more niche thing than the RPG.
It wasn't niche because people still playing it today.
Because people were playing multiplayer games like crazy on N64.
Come on, bro.
Like when GameCube came out, it was a little bit more niche than it was. But in the N64, it was
not niche. That was in the heat when wrestling was at its peak right then. That was not niche back then.
I remember WCW, NWO Revenge, and that was like the great. I played that game so much.
That's college dorm room.
N64
right there.
N64 was great for that. N64 was great for that. But I think the biggest problem is that like GameCube covers everything. Maybe it doesn't have as good as shooters, as good as wrestling games, but it still has some good shooters, some good wrestling. Like the N64 literally has like 2 RPGs that are good. Like,
and the GameCube has better sports games, like regular sports.
Yes, way better sports games.
Madden on N64 for 2 years didn't even have the damn NFL.
Yeah, Madden on N64 is terrible.
Hold on, wait. Hold on. GameCube sports games were decent, solely in part because of Madden and Live, because Live was good back then at that time.
Madden was good and Live
was good, but NFL Quarterback Club was good. Kobe Bryant NBA Courtside was good. And that's not act like this game wasn't good.
NBA Block Side, yeah, NBA Block Side.
But then Courtside came out on GameCube too. So
yeah, I mean,
it did.
There was, and on top of that, like
but I'm saying it started on 64.
You look at like the Mario Sport, and like I said, you have like the strikers and like strikers.
And
that's just
sluggers. I love sluggers.
You don't have that on N64. You don't have
strikers. The better sports game to me was Golf on 64. Definitely,
get out.
I'll be definitely Mario Golf on 64.
I'll be honest.
Tennis on 64 was decent, but they did better on the GameCube.
I'll be real honest with you guys, and this is just maybe unpopular opinion, but having the influx of Mario 10, like all those extra Mario games, that kind of turned me off from a lot of the. I felt like it was just too much Mario at that point, and I think that's even what turned me off a little bit from even a GameCube at that point. It was just Mario this, Mario this, Mario this, Mario that, and it's.
It was just Camelot and Intelligent Systems doing the majority of those games, right?
Let me ask you a question. So what's
Camelot did a lot of them.
What's the equivalent of like a Beautiful Joe on the N64 then?
Beautiful.
That whole Capcom 5.
You know what?
I can't really give you.
How about this? Okami.
Okay.
Game.
What? No, Okami. Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful Joe and Okami.
Yeah, Beautiful Joe's really good. You know it's a really good game.
And Okami is known as one of the best games ever made. Based off of one of the best games from the N64. So
the other thing, towards the end of the generation, towards the end of the 6th generation, but the N64 never got a Tomb Raider to my knowledge either. And the GameCube did.
What about?
No, we didn't get no Tomb Raider.
What about
Star Wars games are better?
But we did have Ridge Racer.
What about Eternal Darkness? What's the equivalent of Eternal Darkness?
Eternal Darkness was cool. It was cool.
Eternal Darkness was on N64 at one point.
What about?
It never came out, man. Stop with that.
What's the equivalent? What's the equivalent of Killer? What about Killer 7?
Killer 7?
Yeah, Killer 7.
Killer 7.
You can't even think of a game because there isn't enough games on the N64.
No, it ain't that.
Let me ask you another.
I want to actually put. I want to put a game that's actually.
What about Beyond Good and Evil? You play Beyond Good and Evil on the GameCube?
I thought Beyond Good and Evil was just a good game. I'm not one of those guys.
What about the original? What about Prince of Persia? What's the equivalent of Prince of Persia?
Hold up, there was a lot of trash Prince of Persia games.
No, the original
Sands of Time was good.
Sands of Time was good. It was really good.
Okay, Sands of Time was.
And it was the GameCube was the best version of the game.
Warrior Within was good too.
What about what's the equivalent of like Battalion Wars?
Hey yo,
or Battalion Wars?
Oh no, that was garbage, bro.
No, that was fun.
You can let that go.
No.
Didn't GameCube also get a WarioWare game?
It did.
Yo, guys.
You can let that go, bro.
What about Super Monkey Ball?
Yo,
stop.
Jay,
now we reaching. We really starting to reach in the bag.
Yo, OJ, it's getting close to the time. I actually got to do something.
Okay. We'll wrap it up here, guys. We're done. I'm done pummeling Baron right now. Okay. I'm done absolutely
pummeling on you.
Pummeling Baron with games that he can't answer back.
Bro, but this man, you said Battalion
week.
Dude, you got a mud hole stomped in you right there. You know you did.
Rock bottom.
He's talking about Battalion Wars stacking up the games like Perfect Dark and 007. And
we already mentioned all the big hitters for the game. That stack up with those games.
We mentioned 50 games. Y'all mentioned like 20.
Come on, man.
I think it's the top really tier games on GameCube versus
not
games on 64.
Whatever you want to list.
What about Pikmin? What about Pikmin? What's the equivalent
this man
of Pikmin?
Loving some. You know what the equivalent of Pikmin was? You really want to know?
What?
You would want to know. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know right now. No, I ain't gonna do that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Somebody mentioned Soul Calibur 2. That's just
Soul Calibur 2 is always the first game I think.
What about Ikaruga? Okay. Anyway, we'll wrap it up here.
It's really good.
All right, guys. We're gonna go around the horn.
What about F-Zero X? What about that?
F-Zero GX.
GX is better. I mentioned that earlier. GX is way better.
GX.
Way better.
You
can't
got
be
Baron.
serious,
You got
Baron.
bodied, and you know you're
Baron.
good. You know you're
No, I
good.
on the same
You
disc.
didn't counter none of the games I listed. So what are you talking about?
Keep putting a little of that white sugar in your Kool-Aid. You must be
VC
liking
was
it a lot
countering
tonight.
every game you were
I
saying.
counted every single thing you
And
said.
so
VC was countering with garbage. That's the
No, I
difference.
came with the W tonight.
No, VC and Shadow
with
Fox
the headache.
was,
That
Shadow
was
Fox
okay.
was
Shadow
listing
Fox,
games.
He was right here.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
wrapping it
Fox was
up.
listing different games than VC
We're
was.
wrapping.
W's.
Baron, I want to.
VC was saying a bunch of garbage. So stop.
Baron, get ready. I want to bring in a neutral, somebody who's neutral on this. We're gonna have a debate on this on the channel. We're gonna have bring your facts.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Bring your facts.
I'm gonna bring my facts. I'm gonna bring all my Metacritic scores with
Look,
me as well.
Metacritic
Let me-
scores.
let me tell you
We're talking
something.
about
You know what you're gonna do?
games in the library.
You're gonna bring a note card this small because there's barely gonna be any games you're gonna be able to write down. There's gonna be about 10 to 15 good games. Well, I'm gonna have this big old fat like.
Shout outs to everyone here saying I didn't take an L and that
Star
Baron did.
Wars,
Shout outs.
Star Wars Racer was a good game.
And
If it-
Rogue
whoever-
Squadron's better. So let's just Rogue Squadron on the GameCube.
Well, that's not the Rogue Squadron game. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, not the damn Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron's better on the GameCube. You know it is. The one that Factor 5 did. They're better. You know it.
I can definitely tell who grew up on 64. And
I
who
grew up on
started
64. I
gaming
played
after-
64. I grew
Not
up on
you. I'm talking about people in the
I'm
chat.
old. I grew
I
up
can
on
tell
64.
who grew up on 64 and who actually got into gaming after 64. I can definitely tell. I can definitely
Are you
tell.
saying
in this
everyone
chat.
here in the chat's 16 years old?
All right. So here's
That's what you have to be
I grew
saying.
up
You
with
gotta be young.
Here's the thing, guys. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Abaddon, where can they find you at, my man?
Y'all can find me on Beats for Breakfast and Abaddon Smith on YouTube.com, and you can find me on Abaddon Smith over on Twitter, and you can find the Beats for Breakfast page on that channel, on that page as well. Thanks for having me, OJ. Appreciate it as always.
No problem. And Stealth, our guest, where can they find you at, Stealth?
You can find me on Twitter at Stealth40K.
All right, make sure you guys go follow Stealth. And Baron, where can they find you at, man?
Y'all can find me choking out OJ for the next 2 days for this nonsense. You know what I mean? But y'all can also follow me on Twitter. You feel me?
I love it. We got another donation come through. Also, Ethan R donated $1.99. Says N64 got Sin and Punishment done. So he's like Sin and Ethan R
never
is
came
like
over here,
Ethan's 17 years old and talk about Sin and Punishment. I don't want to hear nothing from you, Ethan. You weren't
Sin and
alive.
Punishment was that game,
You weren't
though.
alive during
It
that
was
time.
that game, man. It was really good.
No, it's a good game. Don't get me wrong, it's a good game, but I mean, like there's Ikaruga. If you want to talk about like really cool like shooters, stuff like that. So like, Ikaruga's great on the GameCube. Shadow Fox, where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Shadow Fox Infinite, and destroying haters on Twitter as usual. People really need to like find these games, whether or not it's on GameCube
my
or not.
god!
Obviously, that's on GameCube, but these are like underrated games. That
Bots and Kaito's Origins. Oh baby.
Yeah.
Yo,
and that was like 2005, like right
Yo,
at the end of the
that
generation.
game is so sick.
oh god, another RPG.
And it ties directly in. It literally leads right into the beginning
Watch out!
of the
It's
first
another
game.
RPG.
So good. So good.
But anyway, I want our
It's-
Gunslinger. Y'all need to ban Gunslinger because he acting up.
Wait, what did Gunslinger say?
He said you can find BC putting another 100 hours in Pokemon Switch.
Oh my god.
Hey, yeah, you can catch you putting 100 hours in Pokemon Stadium 1 or 2 before that. If I'm being honest.
Hey, Pokemon Stadium was lit. I used to play my
That's fire
friends
on
in
the
that.
64.
Yeah, it
I
was
literally
fire.
was just showing it before. It's one of my favorite games on the actually.
Yeah, Pokemon.
And actually, the covering for it's dope.
Gunslinger said that.
Gold on the other. Dope.
Gunslinger said that Resident Evil 4 is better than every single N64
It is.
or Resident Evil 4 is better
Y'all
than
need
every
to
single
stop.
N64
Y'all
game.
need to stop.
Except
Resident
for Mario
Evil 4
64
is
and
not
Ocarina of
better
Time,
than
it's like
Ocarina
it's
of
all
Time.
time. No,
I
they're
would
all
say that-
tied.
Resident Evil
They're all
4
masterpieces.
Resident Evil 4 and Ocarina of Time are equal to me. They are
Yes.
both goats. They are both
It-
wrenched into.
It doesn't matter because Ocarina of Time got ported to GameCube too.
Exactly. That's what I said earlier. So that's why I guess
I have that as well.
Come on.
It's sad,
Master
man.
Quest Mode 2.
All right,
Like,
well,
come on.
Stealth bounced because he was tired of us. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
to go.
anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be streaming Final Fantasy VII Remake in about an hour.
Oh,
So
what about me? You didn't let me
Oh,
say
did
bye.
I? My bad. All right, VC,
This
take
is
it.
the second
or
time
VC.
tonight. Damn, I know
Sorry.
you're trying to play Final Fantasy 7.
No, I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All
Where-
right,
where-
you
where
can
can I
check
find
me
you?
out at youtube.com. So it's VSFPZ, live streams, gameplay, music, all kinds of stuff. Check out the channel. We're about to reach 1,100 subs soon. Go.
Shout outs. And yeah,
And screw you, TH3, by the way.
and you guys can find me right here. I'll be streaming in about an hour or so. Final Fantasy VII Remake. So hopefully you guys can come out, and we will see you.
Well,
guys.
he's back now.
Oh, Stealth. We thought that you hated us. That's why you left. We're like, you guys are freaking idiots.
Yeah,
I'm
we
never
thought
going
you
back
were
on this podcast again. Stealth is also going to be on the Spawncast. Yeah, this week. So it should be fun there. And there's not going to be anywhere near as much arguing back and forth. I can tell you, unless they bring up Sunshine. Then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
You know.
Is Dave gonna be there?
No.
Okay.
So all right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Make sure you follow all these lovely people, and we will see you guys later for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, can I? One more thing. One last thing.
Sure, go ahead.
One last thing. Whoever said Superman 64 in the chat, if I ever see you, I'm chopping the shit out of you. I'm chopping the shit out of you for bringing up that catastrophe that happened in 64.
That's the N64's third-party support. It's Superman 64. That's about the extent of how good the support was from third party. Superman 64. But by the way, did you know that there's like a lot of Resident Evil games on the GameCube? Like, have you seen like all the library of Resident Evil games on the GameCube? Like,
it's not like there's Resident Evil 4.
Did you just know about that? I mean, Resident Evil 4, 0.
It's the whole library in N64.
Remake of the Resident. Man, did you remember that remake when it came out? Did you remember that when they remade it? It was like the first. It's like, whoa, this is it's not blocky. It's just like the lighting. You remember that remake?
Now he's talking about graphics. Mr. Sword and Shield is talking about graphics.
No, I'm not talking about an RPG now. I'm talking about Resident Evil.
Okay, Mr.
Remade.
Sword and Shield.
Oh yeah, look at this deflect. This man straight up just said, "Y'all remember Dragon Ball Z? Dragon Ball Z." This man helped cut the.
What are you doing right now?
Yeah, they're trying to deflect it.
This man pulled a Dragon Ball.
This man talking about graphics, but he capped with a sword and shield with the flat grass N64 tree. Get out of here, man.
This man deflecting like Dragon Ball Super.
I want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
All right, guys.
Nonsense.
See you later. Baron has no counter for Resident Evil the remake.
All right, Resident Evil.
Perfect Dark Game.
No